Welcome to South Harmon.
Bam! We're here, live and in the building. I heard a Red Bull crack, so that means it's real.
Listen, it's not real if you don't get wings. Red Bull gives you wings. That's honestly the sponsor that we definitely have to get at this point, at least for me. Like I carry that on my own,
Yeah, we need that.
Speaking of giving you wings, do you see the thumbnail? There's no wings on it, but rookies are getting some wings, huh?
It's starting next week. The official kickoff of rookie hype season begins. Man, combine, gym shorts. Let's go, run fast, boys.
Well, yeah,
Jump
we got the combine next week, which is it's crazy because it almost every year. I don't want to say it sneaks up on you because you know when it is, but it's like, damn, we got here kind of fast. I could go for the combine. Hell yeah, let's go. And we are a week out from tomorrow.
End of February, man. It's always a good time because it's like February is kind of a shitty month. You start off, you get a Super Bowl, and then it's like, what else we got?
Yeah,
Winter Olympics.
It might feel a little bit more that way this year for you, especially after the lull of last year. It's hard coming off of a title, I gotta imagine, and then having a letdown year. Problems, first world problems I wish we had.
You're watching in the Olympics at all? Yeah.
I have not. I dabble, sure, like seen on X or wherever, sure, but no sit down and watch it. Have you?
Nope, just the highlights. Certain speed skater out there this garnered some attention.
Yeah,
and the condom thing. The condom thing was what the 10,000 condoms? Jesus Christ,
Mike. I mean, you never want that latex.
That's one way to stay warm, I guess.
Holy hell. Well, hey, we got a bunch of people here. We got AMA, Patty. We've got and now AMA time. We got questions already.
We got a birthday.
Hold on.
Tomorrow.
Oh, damn. I was getting ready to, get balloons. Not that I actually could have, but you know what? That might not be a bad idea for some, quick little overlays for
a little balloons,
little
party.
Super chat. Yeah. Speaking of, who is it though? Who's tomorrow?
Mr. Jordan Jackson.
Wow. The
tomorrow.
Jordan Jackson?
Yeah. The birthday tomorrow, February.
How old are we?
We could take some guesses. I'm going prime years, 27.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna say based on, interactions, that would be where you would first come to mind. But I'm gonna guess a little older. I think the kid's a little more. I'm gonna guess, a little more seasoned out there in Vegas. Sucks. I didn't get to go see my family this Christmas because they got sick, and I plan to meet up with Mr. Jordan Jackson. Have to postpone it. I'm gonna guess 33.
33.
Larry Bird. Yep.
36.
Wow. I was heading the right way, but not quite there. Kind of like the combine, Mike. We're not quite all the way caught up yet. Because here's what is crazy to me, right? Now, there's plenty of narratives still around the 26 class that are, dog shit, and probably you'll never, frankly, recover from. It's kind of like if you didn't wear protection on, a latex on those shoes and you stepped in some shit. It's just may never be the same for you, no matter what you clean it with. But, Mike, as far as the upside of the 26 class, imagine right now, okay? And when I say imagine, you don't necessarily have to. You just live in the real world. Mike, right now, okay, so we have, with this class, Mekhi Lemon, at the moment, it looks like, is number one as the rankings of the rookies. Is that right? Yeah, and then Jordan Tyson's at 2, and Carnell Tate's at 3. Now, imagine this. Imagine you saying the wide receiver 3 in the 26 class is going to be valued ahead of T. Higgins right now on KTC.
Really?
Damn near ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, the chosen one last year. I got a lot of pushback on BTJ. Not that I didn't necessarily like him. It's just I didn't love him enough last year. So, but yeah, Carnell Tate is wide receiver 22. And speaking of which, so is Luther Burden's ahead of T. Higgins as well. So there's a narrative that will go with this. But rookies over vets. Fuck the year. Fuck your takes. Sit on them. It's
Let's go.
But I mean, Mike, three receivers in this class is in the top 22 already is no combine even. We have no measurables yet, really.
Nothing to really go off of. Interviews, you get some of that information during the combine, which I really enjoy too. Like what teams are choosing to interview which prospects. You get a little bit of leakage out of there. Medicals for some of these wide receivers, especially if you tuned into the channel and you caught my breakdown on them, Jordan Tyson's going to be an interesting one because of the medicals.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's good news, but there's definitely
I hope so.
Definitely not a guarantee.
I mean, he did have one terrible knee injury early on in his career. Hasn't had to deal with that since. Sat out a full year, returned, but it's still something to check out. It's it kind of harkened back to. Do you remember kind of how we felt about Tajay Spears as a prospect until we got to about combine time, and then we started hearing about the knees and degenerative.
Well,
and
yeah, it was also really interesting because he had that crazy Senior Bowl blow up, right? And then the knee injuries started really surfacing. Basically, they were saying he had like it was guaranteed to be a problem for him, right?
Yeah, we kind of threw out for our old schoolers out there, DeJuan Blair. You remember him in the NBA?
I played against DeJuan Blair. Yeah, I played against DeJuan Blair. Yeah.
Did he have ACLs back then?
You know what? I'll have to get some footage from there because I gave Mr. DeJuan Blair some work. But
okay, you gave him the business, huh?
No, granted, he didn't have an ACL, so poor guy. No, he was. There's a freaking man amongst boys out there. Him and Terrell Pryor, same AAU team, like craziness. But
Terrell Pryor was on that team too. Damn.
Terrell Pryor was
big names.
Any athlete, like anything athletic, I feel like he could have done. He was.
I think we all know one of those guys. It didn't matter what the sport was. The dude was going to be good.
You just hand it to him. He's like, oh yeah, I'm an athlete. I'll be fine. Just don't worry about it. I'll understand the rules as we go.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
But yeah, the Tajay Spears knees are. Yeah. Do you think? Let me ask you this though. To this point, do you think there's a case where the news is a lot more? It gets a lot more headway than we're expecting right now.
There's a possibility of it. I hope not. I hope it's all clear sailing and checked out and the whole works, because you want rookies to succeed, man. It's what we want to get hyped about. It's what we want to talk about,
sure.
Right? And you kind of mentioned with Keep Trade Cup, we're already seeing it so far, but there's a realistic case where we get some negative news that will kind of knock them down a little bit. You just hope it's not real bad news. If we do get anything out of it, I hope it's nothing, and it's he went through his medical checks, everything's fine.
We especially in this class, let's just let's keep most of the things that we can on the steady.
Yeah,
if we can, right? But
we don't need any hits. We don't need any hits to this class at all. we don't. Mm-hmm. Its reputation is already in shambles. All right, don't shit on it anymore.
We're trying our best here to get a little bit of fighting dignity here, but well, let me ask you this too then. So you've done 3 of the prospect breakdowns. As far as the combine, is there anyone initially, when I say this, I mean, obviously it's a pointed question, but it's not meant to be. Are there players that you're, in particular, more excited or looking for watching next week, with the potential of what they put out there? Maybe they have a little more of a value rise or a stock down.
Wide receivers are going to be a big one, top to bottom, on who actually chooses to participate. Because sometimes with some of these guys, they'll go like, I'm already a lock. I'm not going to do anything to hurt it. Some guys it's a rare one, but you see legit competitors. They're like, nah, like I'm fucking him. I'm about to show everybody that I'm him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come out and I'm going to run. I'm going to do all that shit because I'm him. It's rare. I do kind of get a sense, though, at least from watching these guys on tape, right? Just in regards to the wide receivers so far. Mm-hmm. And our boy Xbox can really attest to this. These guys like on the field have this competitor, and most wide receivers have it, but doing this for a couple of years now, watching wide receiver film, these 3 wide receivers, at least on the top that we've watched so far in depth, they compete every fucking snap. Right? Mm-hmm. Like the ball isn't going anywhere remotely. It's a swing screen out to the left side, and they're lined up on the right side of the field.
Yeah.
They run their fake route like it's a fucking real
grinding hard, no days off, man. You can
nope,
see it a mile away, right?
They go out and they run hard every single time, and then they try to block their ass off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you can see them get testy and feisty, right, with cornerbacks, which is always kind of a wide receiver cornerback. You know, there's a lot of talking going back and forth about who's them, but we've seen really good wide receiver prospects in the past on film. Like Marv, for example. Marv was one of the best wide receiver prospects I think I've ever seen. Took plays off, you know, didn't execute blocking assignments the greatest, you know, wasn't always up and getting in a DB's face, you know, on the stock blocking. These wide receivers that I've watched so far, like, they're bringing it every single time. Like, they have a vendetta against anybody that lines up against the other side. So for the combine, Adam,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess as long as these guys are healthy, you know, and, you know, there's not some nagging injury or something like that they know they're going to go run a, you know, 4.6 because they got a bad hamstring or whatever it is during training. I'm expecting them to go out and actually perform. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Ew.
We don't want that. But I'm expecting them to go out and compete and actually maybe put on a show, which could help this class quite a bit, right? So
yeah, sure.
I don't think either – all three of the guys that I watched, I don't think any of them are true burners, right? Like we're not looking at Isaiah Bond hype situation where it's like anyone's going to threaten a record.
Well, I mean, to be fair, of all the hype that, you know, you didn't hear and never fired was the Bond thing, right? I mean, you can't come out and put that type of narrative around what you're about to do and not do it to that degree.
But I think all three of them could come out and surprise and run somewhere in like the low 4.4s. Right?
I think if they have their technique and they prep for this, which I would imagine they all have, we could definitely get them all, let's say, you know, high 4.4s, or, you know, low 4.5s. But it's kind of interesting too. I think especially when I'm thinking back to Carnell Tate as you're saying this, right? And I think it's part of what's just required at Ohio State anyway. Where I mean, Carnell Tate, Mike, to your point, he's like number 2 or 3 receiver. Incredibly talented, heralded in the class, but you go to Ohio State, it's like, hey, you're going to have to earn your snaps, and you may not even have any snaps to earn right away. So I believe Mekhi Lemon was a top 10 or 15 pick as well, but Jordan Tyson was a little more unheralded, and I think you do see a little more of that willingness and that scrappiness out of all three of them. I'll just say for me, Carnell Tate, I have not seen lately, Mike, guys coming out of Ohio State that aren't really factory prepped, as you would say, right? Like NFL factory prep. They rarely look at Judkins last year. The one thing I was worried about potentially for Judkins was, like, does he actually hit the burners? I mean, well, worry not. I mean, the dude was basically ran what Trev ran. So I expect Carnell Tate to come out and run well, unless he's, you know, something pulls up limp or he has an injury that we find out he's dealing with. And I'll say for him, I'm really excited about his upside. I think he has some stuff to build on and develop. But I think he has the most raw upside of all three, personally.
Another one that we're going to touch on. I touched on the wide receivers, but we're talking about combine and like hype that can build.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Love is a legit 210 pounds. You know, when he plays, like he's built. He's a put together back. Adam, I also think he's going to not threaten for the fastest, but we could see a Jeremiah Love 40 times somewhere in the 4.3s, right? At 210-ish,
sure.
You know, depending on what he weighs. Which,
JT type stuff, 4.38 type beat?
Yeah, you could get in there. JT obviously was, you know, 230 pounds, you know. That's freak show stuff, but
sure.
I bring it up because we look at a guy like Achane, we look at a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. Right, both of those guys sub 200 pounds when they ran their 40s at the combine, and both were in that mid 4.3, you know, high 4.3 range. Jeremiah Love, if he does it and he's, you know, 10, 15, damn near 20 pounds heavier than those guys, like everything that I see on tape when I watch him play is kind of the same thing that's going to come out, and the whole world's going to get kind of put on notice for dynasty purposes. Like, oh, shit. This guy can move, and we don't have any of these size concerns like at all, because no matter how fast Gibbs and Achane ran, go back to that prospect time, it's like, oh, I don't know, man, sub 200-pound running back. How's this going to work out? Obviously, it worked out fantastically for both of them. The NFL kind of switched their style, and schemes and like that. Like you don't have to be a big giant back anymore to succeed in the NFL. Like you don't have to be a 205 pounder. But listen, a lot of that's still in place, right? Like any running back that we have now that's sub 200 pounds, the first thing we go is, I don't know. If Jeremiah Love comes out at 210 and runs that, it's like, all right, well, check. Number 1 overall pick for Dynasty rookie drafts. Lock it in. We're good. On to the next. What these wide receivers do.
Right. No, well, I mean, I think the point you made there is like Gibbs was a little more fringy, right? Achane, I think was going to be an outlier regardless, just based on what he weighed in at, right? I think he was sub 190. So it's like, I mean, you don't have anything to compare to. I mean, there was the Chris Johnson high-end comp, which obviously is looking about what you'd give him. But Gibbs, Mike, he's right around that 200. I think it was just sub 200. But for Love, there's not really a weight concern at all, right? He looks the part of the size. So if he comes out and runs sub 4.4, I think the excitedness is going to go to a different place already because it's already high, right? So I guess I'll just say with him, there's probably a little bit to gain still, but there's not a lot. Like, I think we all expect him to do really well. So I think there's probably more for him to potentially – I don't know that he's going to lose much either. So he's probably just a cemented asset, but we would love to see him go out and smash because I'm kind of curious to see actually on this as well. Let's go ahead and do a little, live time. Where do they have Mr. Love? Because I think the love for Love is only going to grow, honestly, for the next 3 months, maybe 4, right? Yeah. Where, again, outside of some tragic, something off the field or, bad, not necessarily comping to the specific event, but to a Judkins type event. Like, unless something like that happens, I don't think it's going down for sure. Right now, he's currently at RB6, Mike, and I'll tell you that's definitely too low for me.
It's going to come up. It's going to come up by another couple spots in my estimation.
What's crazy is
he'll settle in as RB3.
Yeah, he's it's interesting because he's the asset 27. So let's take picks out just for the sake of clarity. That puts him at asset 26. So I don't know how much. I think he'll definitely pass Achane in my estimation. I think he'll pass Hampton for sure. And I think if he gets the draft capital and he does everything you're saying, like in the combine does well, he'll be passing Genty probably too. So probably 10 spots or so to go up.
Here's the big rub for me for the combine and like what I'll be watching for and looking for. We don't have a clear RB2 of this class. We don't. We just don't know.
I was going to say it's funny how high still the guy that currently is RB2, but yeah, he's very far off. RB2 is very far off from Jeremiah Love for sure right now.
Who is it?
At least what I was seeing was Singleton, but I don't know. I mean, that feels like it's wrong. Unless it's just a Devy type of a thing. People know the name and they just keep it high.
Yep, and probably. But this is what I'll be looking for with the combine because we do have the potential for. Listen, the tape is going to be what it is. Your analytical stats are going to be what they are, right? They can't change that, but you can change people's opinions at the combine.
They got Coleman in there.
You can change the people's opinion at the combine, especially at the running back position, kind of like you talked about with Judkins. Mm-hmm. We had some concerns, and long speed was one, and then the guy goes out and runs the same fucking 40 as
what a volatile offseason for the kid, right?
Yeah, but. So there's some interesting backs, right? Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love's teammate, I think is a very good running back in his own right. He gets overshadowed by Love, obviously, but he produced with his work that he got. He's a very put together running back. Again, he's built. They're almost like they look the same. Like they're 5'11", 6 foot, and they're 210 pounds, solid. But as you get farther down the list, like, could we have one of these guys emerge? You mentioned Jonah Coleman. My big concern with Jonah Coleman is speed and explosiveness.
Well,
right?
I want to see him do well in that category. I'm with you. I'm not super concerned, but I will say it's definitely like what I need to see him do well at for sure.
Right, but that's a big, thick, put-together running back.
It's a big boy,
He's got that Maurice Jones-Drew build to him, 5'9", but 220 pounds plus, almost 230. Like he is a bowling ball.
Some spots got him at literally 229, 230. I mean, you're talking that's massive.
But think about what the combine can do for a guy like that. He's got good production. He's got good film. He does it all. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He runs very well. At that size, 5'9", damn near 230 pounds, if he comes in over 220, 225 pounds, and he goes out and he runs in the 4.5s at him instead of his more projected 4.6 plus time, you're like, okay. Okay. All right. Let's start paying attention to this kid. But you have other guys, right? Nick Singleton, like you mentioned earlier, that was a guy who's a Debbie Darling up through it. Now,
they're close in KTC ranking, but Jonah Coleman did have him by a spot or two.
Last year's production, not great, right? And that's how we're going to write it off. There's vision concerns, there's all that. But that's a guy who can measure in at 6 foot, damn near, again, 230 pounds. And one thing I do know Nick Singleton can do is fucking run fast. Like, I think that is one of the guys that you could go out and Nick's.
Listen, man, he is going to have the full. If you go over, shout out to Player Profiler. He's going to have a really nice looking, aesthetically pleasing analytical chart over there.
Right. His teammate Katron Allen, another big boy. His concern is probably long speed and explosiveness. That's a guy who can move up with a good combine performance.
He could get. I'm with you. He was one of the running backs I think that has possibly a little bit more to gain than the average, just because I think he's kind of – it's weird. He's kind of like been penciled into a lot of what you would just generically think of as a just a guy. And I think if he ends up running fast, he could end up completely changing the narrative for the Dynasty gamer, which we're already itching for more running back volume or more running back bodies at this point.
I'll throw out an older name for you earlier on in our Dynasty career. He's got more of that Elijah Holyfield feel to him.
Oh, that's wow. Okay.
That was bad.
There's nothing I could do to give that type of a – holy shit.
It does. But another guy I wanted to throw out, kind of a dark horse. Xbox and I talked about him on our C2C podcast a little bit for production-wise because, he was on a terrible fucking team. But the offense was clicking and he was putting up numbers. Mike Washington out of Arkansas,
that's what
again, another
we're going to talk about. It's
really
funny,
good put together running back who I think can run really fast and go like, oh shit, this is a 220 pounder plus that just ran out and ran 4.45 or 4.44 or whatever it is.
The Rocket Sanders we always wanted,
The Rocket Sanders we always wanted. There you go. Just hope he holds on to the football because he's got a couple terrible fumbles on his film from last year.
Sounds kind of rocketish. No, but he's also if you don't know much about him, he's a tall guy too. I think he's like 6'3", 6'2". He's a tall running back. I think, Mike, here's what I'll say too. You touched on earlier. Let me give you some cold water here, right? Just because the narratives and the things can change so much. I just want to give you a hypothetical that's been already it's been hypothesized by somebody else. Multiple places have this, mocks and bullshit. But, Mike, there's talks about the Seahawks grabbing another running back in a fairly high range. And imagine if Jonah Coleman does what we want in the combine and then the Seahawks
ends up there.
Jonah Coleman. You're like,
yeah. And bring back Kenneth Walker.
Well, this is great. This is just great, isn't it? Just great. We love this. So, landing spot, obviously, with these running backs will play a huge factor, right? Because, Mike, think about this. JCM, right? He did fine in the combine. He did well, but his stock didn't start taking off anywhere near where it did until all of a sudden this opportunity was sitting in front of him, right? And one thing I will say is very interesting, and I want to talk about at some point a little more in depth in the offseason, kind of doing some number diving and getting the actual numbers for historical years in front of you. But one thing that always seems to be at this time of year just reigns true every year, and I think it's partly because we don't give the position the running back a long shelf life, right? So we're looking for young ones that do well and that we can pencil in for a few years. A lot of people are, right? But these young running backs that, if we think back to this time last year, right? A lot of these same names I'll give you were nowhere near where they're at now. Not even sniffing the range they're at, right? Mm-hmm. But these type of things always happen around now where you could say it's a down class. And I think, especially at the running back position, it is. Outside of Love, it's a lot to be desired. I do like Singleton, but still has a lot of work to do. But just check this out, right? And this is every year. It's like we see a glimpse from a guy, and we're ready to give him the runway, right? On his rookie contract and possibly day 3 capital. He's going to run away with the job for the next several years. So let's just go through some of these. We got Blake Corum, who it took how many years to get to his prominence? He's at running back 29, right? Ahead of Jadarian Price. But we got Bayshaw Tootin, Woody Marks, Trey Benson, still yet to do really much of anything. We've got JCM. We've got Braylon Allen. To your point earlier, Tajay Spears. We got Dylan Sampson. We've got Caleb Johnson. Literally, these guys hardly – I mean, Dylan at least did more than Caleb. We can all agree, But, I mean Mike, these guys are top 50 easy, top 40 because they're young. And, like, the reality is there's going to be a lot of these running backs, I think, in this class and in future classes to keep in mind that we're looking at the moment, right, being discounted to – significantly down. And a lot of these type of running backs don't need to do a whole lot in their rookie year to get some value. So I think that's one of the things for me, in particular in lineup. I'm already trying to draft this way, but getting more of those players, because you basically have to be a name that nobody cares about and then go ahead and do nothing for there not to be a chance for a little bit of value bump for those later round running backs.
It's one of those interesting ones, right? Because you talk about guys who have done nothing in the league yet, right? Like they're next. Okay, it's a down class for most people's estimation. We don't like it, but you see these early keep trade cut returns, right? And you mentioned Nick Singleton as right there in the range of being RB2 of this class. Bad year, right? A lot of concerns, a lot of people going like, what the hell's going on? Ranked on keep trade cut right behind Derrick Henry, Adam. Like Derrick fucking Henry. Derrick Henry and Nick Singleton. Like they should not be next and next.
Sorry, I'm out here muted. I'm trying to do something I can't see with my face. Of course, this is exactly where he should be. Where would you put him? I mean, he should be probably even higher than Henry, right? This is the new king.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Hilarious.
At the running back position, no. At the run, because we're so volatile with value of these guys anyways, right? Like good 1 year. You remember the Bucky Irving last year was going to be the next coming, right? Like everybody needed Bucky Irving on, and then what happened? We kind of get a down season. We get an injured season.
But you know what's crazy? There he is, running back 11.
11.
The community has a lot to say in his range. But Mike Cam Scatabo, running back 15, right? There's R.G. Harvey, running back 19. I guess my point is really that I think there's a trend, at least more recently, the last couple, 2-3 years, that we can say based on the big deflation, so to speak, of the running back position has kind of created this artificial cheat code market where, just taking shots at these guys. Mike, like, if you took a shot on Caleb Johnson last year, it wasn't any old shot. You probably took a late first, early second, right? Mm-hmm. But the point is, you definitely lost value. But, Mike, I can sit here and tell you right now, and granted this is league dependent, he's in the range of J.K., Tyrone Tracy, Tony Pollard. I mean, what? This was the biggest miss that you think you could ever have had. Like, his value didn't hold, let's say, but it didn't actually catastrophically dip as much as I would have thought. And then you have guys that, much, much, much less cost investment that are significant payoffs in just a year without doing a whole lot. Some of them did do some, good things in their rookie season. But by the way, here's Mr. Jaden Blue. Speaking of that whole narrative, he didn't do a whole lot and probably not all that much lower valued than he was last time this year.
It's this weird dynamic we have. Remember the pre-trade Tank Bigsby hype?
Oh,
last year.
Are you kidding?
It was coming back. I still get questions all the time. I still see shit on Twitter all the time about go buy Jonathan Brooks. Get him thrown. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? Audric Estime right up until last year when we saw him play was this weird
every one of the Denver backs has been ready to be crowned, right? The prince that we were all waiting for.
Jalen Wright.
Mike, Jalen Wright's a great example, dude. It's like Jalen Wright was I don't know exactly where he was. He was much higher than I would have expected him to be. We got a super chat though. Just joined. Sorry I'm late. It's all right. Listen, you pay your dues, pay your respects, and it's okay. You show up whenever you want,
You're forgiven.
Thoughts on Jordan Tyson? I will say, make sure you go check out if you have not. Mike's done a whole player breakdown video on Jordan Tyson. After watching the film, which we do every week, him and Xbox go through the film. So make sure you head over to patreon.com as well to go check out some film breakdowns happening on Thursdays. But my thoughts on Jordan Tyson for me is I have him right now barely in the same tier. I have him and Carnell Tate in the same tier, and I have him as my wide receiver 1, but it's, basically splitting hairs. I'd definitely have them as the same tier. I wouldn't pay any more for one or the other. I think Jordan Tyson has a pretty well-rounded, really nice game. I will say I would like to see him do well. I think if he does well at the Combine and his prospect profile looks pretty good, I think he's going to be one of these guys that with draft capital will end up being a safe asset with skyrocketing potential.
Yeah, I don't mind that one at all. My breakdown on him, especially with all three of these wide receivers, listen, whoever you got as wide receiver 1, I respect it. I could see a case for all of them being wide receiver 1. I think they all deserve to be in tier 1 for sure. The first headline of the video was is Jordan Tyson the 101 of this class? And he very well could be. Right now, I personally prefer doing Jeremiah Love instead.
We all love to do Jeremiah Love,
Yeah, I prefer that just because of the uncertainty at wide receiver or at running back too. It's I don't know who the fuck it's gonna be. I don't know if we'll even get.
We're coming off of a really good running back year again too, so that weighs in as well.
But Tyson does just about everything that you want to see out of a wide receiver, a modern day NFL wide receiver. He wins on the outside. He's great in contested catch situations. I think his speed is more than applicable to the NFL. He doesn't look slow out there. I mentioned at the top of the show, this wide receiver class so far through scouting them they all are ridiculous competitors, great blocking. They get out, they give effort, which is great to see. It's the anti-Adonai Mitchell, all right? It's everything I hated about Adonai. These guys are we're doing it the complete opposite, okay? These guys got...
You can't teach the dog.
Yeah, they got the dog in them. I think he runs really good routes. He is just a very smooth operator at the wide receiver position, and then you love to see that contested catch ability. But it's not. We say contested catch like it's a dirty word. The N'Keal Harrys of the world have fucking ruined us.
It's a George Pickens, right? Come on,
But you still need that ability. You still need to be able to go up and win one-on-one balls that are poorly thrown, and you see that out of Jordan Tyson. So you love to see it. It's not how he has to win, so it's not N'Keal Harry. Everything's got to be contested catch because he can't separate for shit. He can separate just fine. But on those times where the ball's underthrown or it's a fade route in the end zone, whatever, I want a guy who can win contested catches. Let's not make it a faux pas it's so dirty of a word. But he does that really well. He's got great body control. There's not a lot of negatives. The only negatives I can point out with Jordan Tyson I touched on in the video, I'm going to touch on in the show, is I just don't know how the medicals are going to check out because it was a serious knee injury that he suffered when he was at Colorado. People don't remember that he was there at Colorado. Cost him a whole season. Didn't play. Then came back. And the last 2 years that we've seen him at Arizona State, he has not finished the year. He missed their college football playoff run with a broken collarbone. That's a one-off. Shit happens. But then last year we had hamstring injuries. And now we're starting to talk soft tissue stuff. So you're like, ooh, is that just a one-off, right? We see guys come back from hamstrings and be fine, but we also seen guys who have hamstring problems that never fucking go away, ever, right? They're always a problem.
Recurring and on a consistently high basis. Yeah, I'm with you. I like Jordan Tyson a lot. I think part of the reason for me, this is going to be more about Lemon, and it's not really a knock on Lemon. I don't have a problem if you put him in the same tier. The reason I kind of cut it out is at the moment and I'm kind of curious to see what teams do with him. I think he's clearly operated and will be much better in the slot. And it's one of those things, if I'm splitting hairs, Mike, it's the way the gamer is, man. We want that guy that could be outside and be viewed as that, look at Allen Ross St. Brown. The guy there's nothing else he could do, honestly, at this point, right? There's nothing else he could do. And obviously he's going to get this is different because Lemon's going to get the draft capital, but there's just I think the part of the game where if you operate mostly in the slot. Now granted, we do have a guy that had that same narrative around him that totally switched it in Justin Jefferson. So not saying he's got to stay penciled into that and that he can't make improvements in his game, but right now he's the one I think at the moment that I'm worried about being able to play inside and out. I think Cardinal Tate is also right now playing a little more in the slot and has some stuff to work on, especially with you see corners really get physical with him, body the fuck out of him. So I think he'll develop more, but I think he has the ability and the traits more so to be in every play outside, inside, wherever you want him to be.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That also I touched on in the Lemon video here this past week that my biggest concern with him and the only reason I have him at the bottom of the tier 1 in my wide receiver 3 is, like you said, Adam, he's a little bit more right now pigeonholed in the slot, and a 70% slot rate will do that to you in your final year of college. It's like, okay, 70% of the time they lined you up in the slot. Can you win on the outside? And you can see it on film. When he lines up there, he can win on the outside. It's just there's not enough to go off of, right? So it feels like for him, if an NFL team drafts him over, Tyson or Tate, which those guys have, great outside rates versus slot rates, like great, like huge. They line up on the outside. Now, will they move them into the slot? Yeah, any good offensive coordinator is going to try to get good matchups, right? Like they're going to try to move guys on the inside and get them on linebackers and safeties for sure. But with a Lemon, it's like if an NFL team's drafting them, they got to either have a creative offense or they got to have a plan for him, right? Like you can't take him to a team and then expect him in 2026, his rookie year, to like, all right, you're going to do something that you didn't do a whole lot in college. All right, we're going to need you to, play the fucking Z.
Yeah.
All right, and be on the outside.
Z, you're going to have to just beat all of these press corners in a very big way early and often. I mean, I don't want to say he can't do it, but to your point on the field, you don't see it much, and I think it's not ever a bad thing when people put you in the slot, right? It's like, but if you don't see the ability to go outside, there's the concern that maybe you're getting hidden in there. Anyway, listen, brief, because straight to the point. It's time to talk about that Poyle. Mike, what does it equate to here? Can we get a conversion? Because we got 11 Canadian. I mean, Mike his mics doesn't work.
I'm guessing $6.
Okay.
Canadian.
Yeah, we're going to have to, those are rookie numbers in this rack. We got to pump those. I'm just kidding, buddy. Appreciate the super chat. 12 team, start 12. Superflex, 1 full point PPR and a full point tight end premium. It's 0.25 points per carry. That's a heavy one. That's a nice shout out to the Warp tool. Warp.life can change your life. You get 0.25 points per carry with this scoring. I'm going to bet running backs have a lot to do with Warp. All right, we got a 25 champ here. So I see humble brag with the Canadian money. Dak, Stafford, Goff. We got Bijan, King. Oh, Derrick Henry. How quickly even I forget. This merch the guy. Brown, ETN, Ramondre, CD. Let's not put Ramondre back into our discussion of our teams here. Okay, I'm just kidding, buddy. CD, Amon-Ra, Pittman, Wandale, Ferguson, Kelsey. Would you buy the 101 for 2 late 27 only picks? Loveland, buy yet. Well, okay. Are these three questions? Buy that. Sorry. Are these 3 questions? Because if it's just 2 late first for the 101, I would do this for sure. Now, the one thing I will say is, if you know it, the problem with knowing they're late is you got to tell me these teams are both really well built and they've got probably a good, historical dynasty manager feel to them. Because if they're not late, these picks have upside that not that the 101 isn't incredibly highly valued and it probably still isn't worth it. But if let's say these were both mid and one turned to be early, all of a sudden that's a totally different conversation. So if you tell me they're both penciled in late, I don't even think it's close, Mike. I would take a 101 easily over that.
I guess the only question that I would have, Loveland's out. Like, I'm not paying anything close to that for.
That's what I was going to ask you. You did a super chat for us. Are these 3 separate questions? Because Loveland's not a part of the trade, right? Yeah.
No, I think he's just giving us options.
Yeah.
On what to go buy. No, I'm not buying a fucking tight end for firsts. Like, I'm just not. I'm good.
No. Well, I mean,
unless it's fucking Trey McBride. right? Somebody's like, give me 2 late 27 first for Trey McBride. Sure, right? That's just the one that's different.
Yeah, the only exception to that rule, especially when we're talking about a guy like Loveland, who's not even just first territory range, Mike, this is a guy that's like, Mike, I'm telling you right now, this is the Dalton Kincaid experience as well. And I'm not hating on even Kincaid or Loveland. I think Loveland's even – I like him probably better than I like Kincaid, frankly. But, Mike, for years, last couple, I watched teams just like all offseason. When you got your team in bubble wrap, right, they're set at tight end with a Kincaid in there going into year 2. Like, dude, this is this is solidified now. Like, we're done. Like, this is a warp difference maker for the rest of eternity. And you see how that went. But Loveland, when you're in that type of a tier where you're talking projection heavy, and it's going to cost you everything that's not projection. First plus, I can't do it at that price even close. I will say the only exception would be if you're playing with shitheads, South Harmon people, and you're telling me like Loveland is at such a discounted price that you think you have flippability later. But I wouldn't play that game, just because. As far as the 2 picks, I think the 101 in this class is the one pick in this class that I could guarantee. I'm not saying others won't. It's the one pick in this class I can guarantee everybody wants right now. And I think what we just talked about with him, looking at KTC, it's actually guaranteed to get that FOMO effect, right? At 101 in every class is, everybody wants the 101. It's just the way it works. So I think there's still value to be, guaranteed to come there. And you're going to have basically every offer you could think of coming your way on the clock. So I'm all for it. Now, buy vets. What a tell you one thing. Not just the Canadian money. He gets his money's worth.
Sure does.
That is a convoluted and deep question we can get into.
Vets. So I'll make this one pretty easy. I talked about where I think Jeremiah Love's going to end up. I think it'll be RB3 in rankings, right? So kind of give yourself
I was going to say, we had this as a not super chat, but I just want to throw it in there. Are y'all Love over Genty guys? I at the moment am Genty, and will stay that until I see Love get the top 10 draft capital. Mike, I think, is already in the Love. I don't want to speak for you, though.
Yeah, I'm Love over Genty as long as Love is a first-round pick.
Yep. Okay, that's right. You said that before.
Yep. So I think RB3, 4, whatever range you want to put him in, whatever you're comfortable with, that's kind of where he's going to end up, right? And in the offseason, that is pretty incredibly high value, and it's a great asset. So on the first part of the question, 2 late 27 first for the 101, absolutely, I smash it. Now, the buy vets thing, would you rather buy vets? I'll give you a range, right? Because we're talking RB3. So
you're thinking with those 27 first instead of going for the 101, okay?
Yeah, if I'm going to buy a vet, it has to be something, 1, that I can count on for production. 2, dynasty value-wise, I got to be right around this RB3 total range, right, is kind of where I'm aiming for, right? And I'm probably going to do it at the wide receiver position if I'm going to go buy a vet, just on the rest of his team, right? The running backs I'm fine with, whatever. Like the ETN, Ramondre thing, you go, Chase Brown, whatever. But Bijan, you got the RB1. Congratulations. You got Derrick Henry. As long as he comes back, the fucking guy's probably putting up 1,000 yards plus, right? Like, he's going to be fine for you. Your quarterback situation's way okay. Tight ends, you got enough to get by. So, like, your team's good. Let me get some wide receiver depth. Let me get some. You got CD and Amon-Ra. It's fantastic. Pittman, Wandale. Okay. Like, let me go aim for a wide receiver, Adam. Is a Justin Jefferson available for this price? Probably not, but
yeah, we're getting spicy high, but I'd say probably not. But listen, Jettas is in a territory that no man could have thought of or even spoken into existence anywhere near this time last year. So
Drake London, is he available?
Yeah, I doubt it, but I mean, listen, I do think it's important to the exercise in general, though, of due diligence. I'm fully on board with your message here, Mike.
Ted McMillan.
Let me ask you, okay, Ted McMillan, let's say that was available, because the one thing is he's a vet technically, but he feels he's got more of that rookie sticker price. What would need to be the other player? Or are you saying, would you rather just have a McMillan over a Love at this point?
I think I would be more. Here's the trade-off. Like when I
Yeah.
start to get to the Tet McMillan, right?
Right.
And I'll give you Emeka Buka as another one. I'll give you Chris Olave as another one, another option for me, right? That we're talking about. I'm thinking I'm going to sacrifice the offseason dynasty value. The hype isn't going to be around these guys like it is, but I'm thinking production-wise when we get into the season, as far as repeating, I'm much rather going to have a Tet, Emeka Buka, Chris Olave on my team, on my roster. So by the time we get to week 4, week 5, listen, I think Jeremiah Love's great, but relying on a rookie, running back to be like, oh, he's going to be a game changer for me. While dynasty value may say he's RB3, Ashton Genty, RB3. The production, while we're like, hey, it was a RB1 season for him, like it wasn't production that was actually helping you win. It wasn't production that was actually a warp difference maker. Tet, Ibuka, Chris Olave, obviously with what he did last year, those are guys that I would much rather have once we get to week 4, week 5 of the season, right? Because they're actually helping me win with the team construction. While I go, oh shit, I sacrificed offseason value, I'm thinking ahead where I'm like, in the end of it, I'm still going to win this thing. Like I'm still going to win this thing. So it's a little bit more of a repeat contender move than it is dynasty offseason value trade, but that's kind of the range where, listen, if I can't buy in that range and probably at the wide receiver position or maybe at the quarterback position, you can do some sniffing around there. Mm-hmm. The vet thing's kind of out of the question because that 101 is so goddamn enticing right now. Right. It's like, dude, it could be anything, Lois.
It could even be Tet McMillan. It could even be Chris Olave.
Yeah.
I think what I will say, especially when we go 1 for 1. Now, the Tet one is interesting because I get the entire argument, and especially what you're saying about him too. I think Tet to me would be someone that kind of is a little more of a tweener in the conversation here, where it's not like he could be what we were hoping for in production, but I think he's shown all the signs to getting there. But I feel like we might still not necessarily have, warp difference maker out of him next year. He could end up being good again, but just not the difference maker tier. Where Olave, like if you're buying him, the value coming from the youth and all that really doesn't bake in and equate. And I think
the shine is worn off Chris Olave.
Which is crazy. Right? Crazy to think that based on we're probably at his peak in dynasty value. To your point, yeah. But what I'll say is that I think in general right now it's important to remember how long this offseason really is.
Yeah.
And to me, it's the tube of toothpaste, right? It's a lot easier if I got the toothpaste in the tube to, shoot my load whenever I want to. But once you shoot your load, man, you're trying to get that toothpaste back in there. And even if you get it in there, the idea of going to a Jeremiah Love or, a 101 of rookie at this time, one of those picks, it's a lot harder to get that as time continues to carry on this offseason as opposed to going the other way around. So I think I'm in a tiebreaker conversation. I'm going to lean the long game of the offseason. But ultimately you decide that for yourself.
It's also not crazy to have the discussion about would you rather hold these picks at it, because I'm seeing people doing crazy shit for 27. And why they project now is late. Shit can change. Bad shit can happen to those teams, sure. Right?
Yeah, especially if you have let's say you have these 2 late first, right? But especially let's say this is a part of your treasure trove of 4 or 5. I'm at the point where the 101 is worth cutting into a big piece of that. But I will say, right, if you have 3, 4, 5 of those picks, you basically give yourself the opportunity to go buy any player anytime and whenever you want with those type of picks. I mean, you may only need 2 of them to get a top 20 asset here and halfway through the season,
But also, you and I and people who've been doing this for a while, been playing Dynasty. We've seen this story before, right? Let's go back to the 22 class. Let's go back to the 22 class. It was Breece Hall as the 101, and if somebody was like, "Would you trade 2 late 23 first?" 23 is getting all the hype. It's going to be the greatest running back class we've ever seen in history. And then fast forward to the actual.
I think I might have actually done it, and yikes, yeah.
Fast forward to the actual 23 draft, and you're sitting there and you're like, man, I could have had Breece Hall for whoever the fuck these dudes are that I got to take. Yeah, fucking damn it.
Sure.
Damn it.
I mean, and this is also at this point, we still have a lot to, information to slot in. It's not to be TBD, so to speak. But, I mean, if he ends up getting top 10 draft capital, Mike kills the combine, this dude's going to be solidified. Even like you said, if he's a first-round pick with a very good profile, solidified. Look at Hampton. Look at what Hampton did this year. Now, granted, we obviously are all expecting big things from him and saw moments, but I mean, we saw moments. Like it's
moments.
Anyway, so
Red Bull number 2. Let's go.
Listen, you don't. We're not even at the. We haven't even had Fizz sing to us yet, and it's on number 2. It's got to be a long evening.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you the question here that was asked early, and I meant to. I started and forgot to get to. Patty Mills. Any thoughts on the newest rice news? Don't tell me you should have sold. Don't tell me you should have already sold. LOL. Because not that you can't sell him that, but listen, he knows it. All right, he's admitting it. What are some pivots?
What do we got for new rice news?
I was gonna say, are you late or am I missing? Because one of the other, and at this point, Mike, there seems like there's another Rashi Rice piece of news that keeps coming out. Maybe I genuinely missed it. I doubt it, but for Patty's sake, let's talk pivots. Let's talk pivots as we do some X diving.
Well, the Rashi Rice news that we had a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Not good.
Well, I actually, people were in a full blown panic. Like they were in a full blown panic. I actually felt like in the Discord talking to people, like I was the voice of reason, being I'm not selling by Rashi.
Here's what I know.
That, which felt weird.
When Mike is the calm one, and like, hey, people, that's when you know, everybody panic. I think Will Ferrell in the semi-pro.
One more thing, you brought it up earlier when we were talking about wide receiver.
He officially filed a civil lawsuit today.
Oh, okay, so it is. There's something to it. All right, it's not just
civil though, right? I mean, this is the.
It's civil. Yeah, it's civil. So it is what it is.
Yeah, because they're very civil between each other,
Just why I got it in the head. I had to pull up the stats just so we were clear on the wide receivers, right? When we talked about Lemon, Tate, and Tyson, Lemon 70% of his routes, pass snaps, slot.
Yeah, slot merchant.
Carnell Tate, 10%.
And what I will say too is I think that's even a little bit bigger. I was going to guess higher, like 20, 25, something like that. But I will say, Mike, what's even more impressive about that is thinking about the options you have in that room to put anybody in the slot, right? So
yep. And then Jordan Tyson, 25%. So
and that's what I would have guessed for Tate, 25, 30%.
Yep. So Mekhi Lemon by far and away when you're talking about the big 3 wide receivers in this class.
And now I'm not saying you can't have it how you want to when you rank it, Mike. I know you have. Does that not make sense when you just look at that and think about it from a simplistic standpoint of the way the typical Dynasty gamer thinks? Like that's why I tier them differently, although I have them all very highly.
There's only two names that have gotten brought up in this wide receiver class outside of these guys that have a bigger slot percentage, like more slot merchants that are concerned. One
in this class, or are you talking about
in this class? Okay. In this class, and one you could probably guess.
Mike, I'm on my second Red Bull. My brain's a little,
that's
depleted.
Right. Zachariah Branch.
Oh, you're right. I should have tried.
Yeah, you should have tried. 79% of his routes.
80% in the slot.
Yeah.
Damn.
One more though, and I didn't picture this one. I didn't realize this was it. And I kind of like this kid, but this is gonna give me pause.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid, man. Great story, great fucking story too. The whole fucking team was a great story. Omar Cooper.
What did he play? He's probably one that when you say
83%.
When you say it, it's like, does he play? Is there any percentage that's not the slot?
83% of the slot, which is fucking crazy too. Because if I had to ask you, just give me KC Concepcion, right? We don't view him as a big physical wide receiver. If you had to guess his slot snap percentage, what would you think it is?
Probably higher than you'd expect. I think the way they tried to, I would have guessed like 40, 45,
34.
That's not bad. I think they. You could tell they tried to use him. I think they probably also, after the quarterback injury, I bet you there was more slot snaps there, right? Get him closer to the target.
Let's try it. But yeah, okay. So Rashi Rice news. What's the pivot? Civil suit is, I guess, official now.
I will say the civil suit to me, at least, I didn't know that. I did miss the news, so I'll stand. But I don't really view this as needle moving. I think this is kind of like par for the course almost, right? Like,
I think there was two options.
Okay.
Right. There was really two. Either it was something of substance, and it wasn't just allegations, because we've seen allegations and then they just disappear, right? Like you think about the Xavier Worthy stuff. That one is actually pretty quick about how quickly that one came out and was like, oh no, he was the one getting extorted, like that kind of shit. But it could have just died off. Yeah, like people do forget, Adam. You and I were alive for the time. We always talk about Jamar Chase not being able to catch footballs.
I was alive and well. That was I didn't need the Red Bulls. I did back when the ass. Yeah.
But do you remember at the same time is old lady alleged domestic violence and that he didn't wash his ass?
Yeah, he smelled like dog shit.
But that one it faded off into nothingness. Like,
well, they really tried with Jamar Chase to give us windows, huh? The white stripes on the ball.
They did.
Yeah.
But it could have gone that route where this Rashi thing just kind of faded into oblivion, or you get something, whether it was charges, whether it was a civil suit, whether it was like, okay, this doesn't mean it's true. Okay.
My argument would be why I say it's par for the course is, see, like for example, with Xavier Worthy, right? When you going up against a clean bill as far as the person, you're gonna get. I'm not saying that wasn't a crazy one, right? Bitches running wild. I mean, that was insane. But if you have a rap sheet like he does, like it's your word versus theirs. It's like we better. It's a civil suit too. I mean, a lot of times with these, she's literally it could be a money grab still. Like she's just going to get the money. With this type of a situation, the Chiefs could be like, listen, we want this out of the news, so just pay, get it done, move on. So I think this was kind of par for the course, given his track record, is what I will say. And that's not to say anything about what actually took place at all.
So on pivots, like what I do for pivots, right? Oof. I'm not going to get too crazy.
Pivot. I'm going to say this is, it's tough. It's tough to pivot off right now, man.
It is. You need a good buyer, but you can find some. You can find some. I would say any top 5 pick of this class, no question about it.
I think that's fair. No, and let me ask you. Okay.
Done deal.
I think top 3 is probably like more smash and everyone. I'm with you though. I'm actually kind of curious now. Go ahead and keep talking no pivots while I he's digging on this.
Yeah, you talked about keep trade cutting their rookie ranks. He is just ahead of Mekhi Lemon.
So let me ask you that, right? Thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, what would you put? Let's remove. Let's take away some ambiguity. All right. So what would you put Rice at roughly and vaguely in your rankings at the moment,
including these rookies?
Yeah, but like just for the sake of trying to talk through overall assets and not necessarily pinpoint it against one for the other. Okay. So
let me talk wide receivers. So Emeka Buka, yes, no question. Garrett Wilson, yes. Chris Olave, yes. Lad McConkey, yes.
Ooh.
Rome Odunze, yes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Marv, yes. Brian Thomas Jr., yes.
Yeah, I think right around here is where I'm not saying
now we start to get interested.
But you start. I think people start feeling a little uneasy around that point. Yes.
Yep. Luther Burden, no.
Goodness gracious, no.
T. Higgins, yes. J-Mo, no. AJ Brown,
nah.
No. Nah. Devontae Smith, wash. Like Smitty is just the safe, unsexy. Yeah, but it's probably a no.
You had everybody listening and feeling good, and then they're like, no. I can't. This guy. Not that you can't be right, but it's just no. I'm with you. We're past the point here.
I'll give you 2 more.
Oh goodness.
2 more for me. Zay Flowers, yes.
I can see it, but go ahead.
And
I know where this other one's going. It was
massive upside,
a potential thumb, but we got rid of the thumb idea with
Travis Hunter.
Alrighty. Boom, 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 boom. By the way, I wanted to. Now that you brought him up, I was waiting for you to bring him up so I could mention that Denzel Boston might get the moment by the people of KTC. Denzel Boston over Travis motherfucking Hunter. That's crazy. By the way, Casey Concepcion is basically what Travis Hunter
Denzel Boston was going to be the rookie video this week. I had eye surgery last Friday, so I had to miss our scouting.
I was going to say, are they more straight now? You're looking better.
No, they're
okay. Can you see?
They're completely fucked. I can't see shit out of my right eye, to be honest.
So that's why you're not. he doesn't even realize how hot mess I look through that.
Which makes this really tough when chat is on the right side of my screen. So I literally have to turn my whole fucking head just to read that thing.
Don't worry, buddy. There's a
lot of squinting. A lot of squinting.
Let me see.
If you want to get grossed out too, like you can go watch the procedure. Not mine, but what they did to me.
Don't.
Corneal cross-linking. It is that was fun. You know, anytime that they're like, we got to scrape your eyeball. I was like, what the fuck?
How about we try to cross-link back to Rashee Rice? So, Mike, I think what you mentioned there, top 5 pick, smart. I think for me, one of the potential pivots I will give is probably, like, if I could get 4, I would really feel good about it, just because I think we're going into this world where I don't really like living in it. I'm still uneasy about it. But like the quarterback in particular, like we saw what happened with Cam Ward last year. Maybe you're just a little. It's like the asset. Those assets need, I think, a little more of a resurgence. Not saying it couldn't come, but I'm with you though. Top 5 pick, I'd probably take it.
Cam Ward had a horrible rookie year. I mean, we talked about it on AMAs. You know, he got the Scott Connor treatment there throughout the entirety of the season, and not the good kind. This is the bad kind. Where we're at now with Cam Ward. Dynasty asset, he is QB 17 on Keep Trade Cut, ahead of CJ Stroud, Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Tyler Shuck.
But let's cross-link. Let's cross-link like the cornea. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there you go.
So, you know,
56 for a total asset.
Right, and that's where, you know, I think there's more. I think the other 4 in the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Speaking of the eye. So the other 4, I think for the most part right now, the way the game is, it's like you're more flexible with those potentially. I think Mendoza still, by just being a quarterback, the 101, all that stuff has, I'm not trying to say he's down, like he's not, like he's stuck at his point, but I think his upside's still tremendous. But I think the 104 for me would be more of a feel good, just knowing I don't have to necessarily take a quarterback if I didn't really want to.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I include the 105 because I think Mendoza, especially we got another 6.5 months to go till the season starts, is a very safe asset that could rise a little bit. I mean, it's early on in Keep Trade Cut with these rookies being in there and people doing with it, but he is quarterback 15 already, Adam. Like, we don't have official draft capital yet. Like we haven't even had the draft yet. He's ahead of Dak Prescott. He's ahead of CJ Stroud already.
That's the point of the thumb, right? The rookies, not just rookies, are the currency at the moment, which is funny. I was told we'd never be here. 26 was never going to arrive. I want the pie. You know what? I will have some. I
was just going to say that.
Mom, the pie. We want it. We want it now.
I was told this day would never come, and yet we haven't even had the combine.
The crazy part is the day still hasn't come.
It still hasn't come.
It will come eventually. If you build it, they will come.
Mike cut his beard and lost his eyesight. I think that's what
poor
happened.
Guy.
All the power.
He's like Samson from the Bible, you know. Cut his hair.
Jesus.
Okay. So let me ask you. Trying to get to this Rashee Rice. We are having a ball with this one. I think 104 for me in players let's go cross positionally, because at receiver, I think I'm with you. I think the conversation where people might feel leery or uneasy probably starts around Marv, frankly, right? The Marv, the Tyson, the BTJ, especially Luther Burden. So cross positionally, where would you need, like, what do you need at running back to get Rashee Rice or move Rashee Rice? Sorry. I think that list is a little shorter for me.
It is. I'm probably getting, man, here's a I want to say 10, but I just can't, because the guy sitting at 10, I can't move him any higher because I have these concerns about health.
Oh, the Juckin?
Yep. I mean, that was a pretty serious fucking knee injury. So,
yeah.
But anything outside of that, like Brees has uncertainty, Bucky, I've never been a real big Bucky fan. Christian McCaffrey's 47 years old. You know, Chase Brown, all these guys. No. So I'm going to say.
What about the Super Bowl MVP?
Trev. No.
Okay.
No, but I'm going to say Trev is the cutoff for me. So that'd give you Trev, JT, James Cook, Jeremiah Love, obviously. We talking 101. Amari Hampton, Genty, H.N. Gibbs, Bijan.
I was actually just going to, not to keep one differentiating from you, but I was going to say JT. Give me JT, Cook, Love, those guys. I'm in. Henderson.
I get it with the Trevion thing.
Yeah,
I'm banking on some offseason resurgence, some hype, or some
I'm getting
Ramondre
worried.
news.
You know when you just keep seeing that same picture, and you're like, all right, yeah, but I'm going to change it this time. It's me, isn't it? It's me now. I'm the idiot, right? I'm the one that's. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I think the risk, and here's what I'll say, right? When I'm looking at a guy like Rashee Rice, I'm assuming risk, but I still have tremendous upside. And I think that's the thing. That's why Trev in particular would meet it there. But yeah, I'm taking on a whole bunch of fucking risk here, aren't I? Like, this is not some surefire thing, because I just got told one of someone's best running backs on his team in a super chat today was Ramondre Stevenson. So, like this Trev thing can't be locked and loaded. That's kind of where I'm at. So,
gotcha. Quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks is an interesting one. I think that's kind of to the point I was making where, Mike, it's not even like when you talk about Mendoza, right? Let's say I got the 105, and I don't even think that's guaranteed that you're going to get Mendoza there. I think he still could go higher. The quarterback thing that's interesting the last couple years, and I'm curious to see how it moves and what it does and when it eventually kind of shifts a little more back to what we've seen in the past, or if that happens in the near future at all. It's Mike, anytime I've had this is especially in lineup. Now in best ball, I think it's a totally different beast and animal, because there's really not, if you're telling me the quarterbacks are playing, there's really not a number that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm uncomfortable having this many quarterbacks playing in a best ball team. I'm good. I'll take 6. I'll take 8. Like I'm happy. Mm-hmm. They're gonna play. In lineup, it's weird because I will say these last couple years, I have watched people that just what I'm really getting as far as the overall market. Not saying you can't wait for the window and try to exploit it, but the overall like buying market is just. I mean, it's not even the same game. Like the quarterbacks in general, someone's going to buy positionally, cross positionally. It used to be the quarterback was the premium, right? Like this is the king. You got to pay up for the king. Now it's like the opposite, where if they don't have even if they have a positional need, they'll go to the waiver wire. They'll pay a third for Mac Jones, and that gets you through freaking 8 weeks. And you're like, okay. So I think at the quarterback position, Mike, just generically, though, if we take that part of the equation out of it, it's a good question. I think it's right around Mendoza, frankly. So it's, I probably would take right now. I'll be honest though, I think it is around that but for me, I think I would need to see I'm getting the top 12 or 13, frankly, at the moment. Just because I feel like I could probably not take Rashee Rice into the trade and get someone similar to a Baker or a Goff, right? And find a way to get that quarterback into my lineup, as opposed to trading away my Rashee Rice and getting back Jordan Love, right? Or whatever that would be.
I can respect that. I think I'm, especially with the way we've had the last 2 years have gone for fantasy for quarterbacks, I'm like at this, I'm ready to zig when everybody else is zagging on this.
You've been buying and you're ready to buy more, right?
Ready to buy more, right? I'm like, fuck, can't get worse. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's not a good thing, right? That you've been at the casino
Robin
and you're
Hood
like,
at QB is just getting, heavy. I love to see it though. I love it. Let's lean in.
It's like being at the casino and you're down bad at the blackjack table and you're like, fucking, we just got to turn around now.
You're like, all right? You're like that little voice. Hey, tonight's not your night, man. Yeah, fuck it isn't. Watch this.
Yeah. So it can get you in trouble. I think I'm more QB 18, and I'll put it at CJ Stroud.
There you go. Yeah.
I'd rather have Stroud and trade away my Rashee at this point.
And I mean, I think that's also the point too. Is like, again, realistically, Mendoza, Dak, Ward, Stroud, different years but similar situations and stuff. So I'm with you there. Tight end, no thanks. So that's where.
Trey McBride.
Yeah, I mean. I don't think people are doing that, frankly. So it's kind of a no thanks, right? I'm good on Loveland. I'm good on this whole other scenario.
I don't think Bowers can get done either. I would trade away just because I know the.
I would take Bowers too, but Bowers is like seemingly for some people as valuable, if not more, than Trey McBride still, which is where I'm like, yeah, banana land.
The rest of the tight ends, no thanks. I'd rather ride out Rashee Rice.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, so. I'll tell you what, we're gonna get to questions, and I see Dynasty Jake's here for the intro. It's always my favorite part when he's like, "Hey, listen, I've been waiting this whole time so you guys can stop talking." But nah, Fizz has a great intro. Let's do a quick little intro, Mike, and we'll get back to some more Red Bulls, and questions.
Let's go, man. You ain't sleeping at all tonight. Ain't happening.
Dude, don't worry. I wish I could send a video while I'm sleeping. Knocked the F out. But
you're a pro. You're a pro.
Yeah. Quote pro. All right, let's do this.
Welcome to South Harmon. Welcome to South Harmon. Hey, welcome to South Harmon. We glad you here today. Another AMA. Ask me anything. Super chat is cool if you wanna pay to play. Like and subscribe, that's what we really appreciate. Let me introduce you to the tear down king. Mike McNutted, ask your questions, he'll answer anything. ATM, you know I don't put them graphics on the screen. Glad you tapped in now, stay tapped in for the team. Hey, everything is posted. Go follow the socials. South Harmon FF tag us if we get noticed. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Another AMA. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today.
Yeah, we're here. Adam ain't. Too many Red Bulls. Too many Red Bulls.
I'll tell you what, the Red Bulls run through you quickly,
Had to pee, man. Hey, I was looking up that Rashi thing. So it is the same woman that he was with that posted that Instagram thing about a month or two ago with the photos, where she said she was tired of keeping quiet. So
yeah,
civil lawsuit, still no clarity on whether that happened in, Dallas, where he's from, or whether that was in Kansas City. No indication from the league or any law enforcement on whether, charges were filed at all or a incident report was made, anything like that. So yeah, kind of to your point, Adam, still a lot of the same information that we just got when we were all speculating a couple months ago when that IG post went out. Like, what's this mean? Because this is a guy who's under probation for his felony that he already has on his record. So, how's that affected if he gets another charge added onto it, right? Now we're talking probation violation. They don't fuck around on that one.
There's we're all about second chances, so to speak, but then there's you're on probation and you get in trouble. There's a different approach and way that they look at that. But I'll say, Mike, to me, it's just more paperwork and the way in which I was expecting things to go. I didn't obviously know it was coming today, and to me, it's not needle moving, but it is only, I will say, the one thing about it, right? It's just more reason and traction for potential headlines for someone to see it that didn't, or to think about it again. So it's not, it's probably, needle moving slightly down. But
yeah,
I think at this point with him, really, when we go through that exercise, Mike, in a shallow lineup league, let's say 9 or 10, I think you got to be a little more risk averse here and know you're dealing with an asset that has cratering downside, right? But more often than not, I think I'd probably be staying for what the market's probably going to give me. Best ball, I think. Listen, I'll be completely honest. Best ball, I think it's very wise to just go ahead and potentially cut a little bit of a loss to get into something that can give you roster construction very similarly and probably a plus. So that'd be my big takeaway from him in that situation there. But don't
get crazy.
We move right down to wide receiver 25. Damn.
Just please, all I ask is just don't get too fucking carried away and crazy with it. Adam and I tried to be the voice of reason last year on the Quinshon Judkins thing, and you had people like, gotta get out now. He's never gonna play football. He doesn't even have a contract.
It sucked, at least for me, Mike. It was like people already didn't necessarily want to hear. They want to get really into the current narrative right now, right? More polarizing. And then it's like people were thinking I was like defending him because he's a Brown and a Buckeye and stuff. I was like, damn, man, like, it's just I'm just trying to be honest about how I feel.
I'm not a fan of either team. I just like good players. And
honestly, good for you. Lucky for you.
Lucky for me.
Okay. Speaking of questions.
Oh shit, Joey Cheese Dicks.
Well,
Let's
hello.
Go. What's up, Joey?
Man, I haven't seen that cheese dick in quite some time, and I remember how big it is now. Cheers, fellas. Good luck with the eyes, Mike. Where are you guys at with G Will? I'll be honest with you. I think I know, but I don't necessarily know if I know. I'm not as hip as I. This is Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I can't quit him either. I mean Joey Cheese Sticks, but Mike, I'll let you go.
It's the same shit I think we've talked about his entire career. Like, this is the reincarnation of DJ Moore early on in his career. This is a reincarnation of Terry McLaurin early in his career. It's like, well, just wait till he gets a quarterback, and then we're 8-9 years into their career and they still don't have one. And it doesn't look like he's getting one this year. It doesn't feel like maybe.
Well, I was gonna say there's a lot of murmurs and rumors about your boy Kyler going there.
I guess,
Well, I mean, I'm just asking. I'm more so asking, like, would that be same
That'd
story,
be much
same
better
problem,
than
or is I don't know, honestly. Would it be?
Listen, that's a much better option than them trading back into the first for Ty Simpson.
Well, I mean, I think for the Jets, maybe you could argue that. Honestly, for fantasy gamers, I feel like we just got proved, at least for the fantasy side. Like, hold on a second, this Michael Wilson kid, what was going on here? Like. Right, like we saw Trey McBride go crazy. We saw moments of Marv having the Marv upside. It's like, damn. I think it'd be good. I think it'd be better than. Listen, the Jets have a lot of options that would be better than what they have at the moment. But one thing I'll say about Garrett Wilson, I don't want to cut you off though, so I'll let you finish, kind of, if you had anything else.
No, I just feel like we're gonna be stuck in this perpetual cycle where, like, you cheese sticks, like the guys who can't quit them are gonna keep them.
Listen, I'm an addict, okay? What do you want from me?
You're going to keep them right around that wide receiver 1 territory, just on the outside, and we're never going to get the actual performance until, like Terry McLaurin or DJ Moore got traded, until all of a sudden it's like, oh, thank God. Thank God. But here we are. We're 28 now, so your dynasty career is basically over. Like, we're all about production now. The opium's gone. He's got 2 more years of this shit at him, and I feel like we're just going to we'll have this same conversation next year. It's like, are we quitting Garrett Wilson yet? Like, here we go, another almost 1,000-yard season.
You want to quit now? It's like
another
the quarterback conversation. It's the casino
season.
Analogy. No, we buy more. You kidding me?
No, I think he deserves to be up there because there's enough people still hyping him up. But I don't hate it, especially if I can make within tier pivots, like 1 for 1, and just I'll let you deal with it, okay? Like, give me his classmate, Chris Olave, who I just saw put up a wide receiver 1 season, right? If they're even close, like, that's an easy pivot for me. I will buy into the Roman Dunzeys or the Mars or the Lad McConkneys, the Brian Thomas Jr.'s 1 for 1 for Garrett Wilson. And in a lot of cases, you probably even get a little plus added on to your side to take one of those guys. I think I'd rather shoot for that upside because I just don't see it unless we get a significant quarterback change. And it feels like we're just perpetually going to keep talking about this shit until it actually happens.
Yeah. Let me see if I speak, Mike, and I'll try to give you the synopsis here. So what I'm hearing is myself and Cheese Dicks and the market in general is still quite, high on him. So you're not opposed. You're not really opposed, but you don't really love the idea of of playing with the production and put him in your lineup. Essentially, if you can get out at cost, you're all for the share
100%.
Pivoting, which 100%. I think. I mean, I will say in general, remove Garrett Wilson for a second, right? If you're telling me that you can get out of an asset, right, like him, where at the moment let's see where he's actually gone to. He hasn't gone all that far down. Wide receiver 13. Sorry, 13. So, but if you're telling me that you can stay in roughly wide receiver 1 range or top 15, but you can get into a more secure situation or production, I mean, it's probably just in general, right? Forget the asset, forget the name, forget the age. Typically, that's more of it's a savvy pivot. So, I will say in process, I can get behind it. One thing I'll say though is it's actually kind of interesting. Last year he was. I don't know what to make of him. Like, was he really hurt? Is he just the rest of his season? He was completely done. But he actually, for the first 6 weeks of the season, was on some like, what the fuck is this here? Is this just we got Garrett Wilson possibly going to the moon. I think he was top 12 roughly, depending on your scoring format. Regular PPR, I think it was 13 or 14. points per game in that small window. And the year prior, obviously, didn't give you the expectations we all were hoping for, but and those expectations were crazy lofty going into that year with Rodgers. I will say I think his production is probably going to be still volatile, going to be unsure week to week, especially because of the situation. But I do think targets and talent eventually will win out. And I do think the one difference about him still is the targets are at such an elite clip, Mike. It's kind of like if we hadn't seen Neighbors pop year one quite to the same degree. Those targets, I will say that's what differentiates him from DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, any other person you want to throw in the mix. They're so high that they're worth chasing because he doesn't have to be elite to give you elite numbers with those type of targets. But God forbid he actually got the quarterback and was elite. Now you have a league-winning wrecking ball on your team.
Good points. Good points on him. And my only hesitation, like you said, the first 6 weeks, like I remember you doing on recap, like you were excited about most of them. 5 out of 6 of those weeks he was pretty
because he was wide receiver 72 one week. It wasn't a good one.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Or let's say 4 out of 6 of those weeks because he went 22.5 points, 24, 9 points, 20, 19, and then 4.3.
Yep.
Now, I look back at the schedule and you're like, okay, well, this kind of paints early on in the season. He was great. Pittsburgh, when he played Pittsburgh, he was wide receiver 7 on the week. Mm-hmm. Remember, Pittsburgh brought all those defensive guys over. They weren't playing defense
highest paid
for
secondary in NFL for that, right?
Early on in the season, they weren't playing defense for shit. Buffalo, when he played Buffalo, that was a 9-point week, wide receiver 54, right? Got locked up by Christian Benford. That was a little concerning. He went off against Zion McCollum in Tampa Bay, wide receiver 2 on the week. And then week 4 and 5, played Miami and Dallas, by default, the 2 worst fucking defenses that you could have.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is the Dallas game. Now, granted, they were all basically roughly the same, 20 points essentially. Was his worst of those bunch. And they played Denver, which all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is that Denver team. That was his 4-point game, right? But I mean, I will say, that especially if I'm not paying the elite tier guys, right? The top 3-5 price names that that's kind of a little more to be expected to have up and down. So I'm still in. I think he's kind of at a point where it's like, all right, yeah, if I can make a pivot into a more secure production asset that's similar in dynasty value, yeah. But I think more often than not, you're not probably able to get that done, right? There's enough the upside in that like crazy allure, I think, is worn off a little bit to where he kind of, I think, is just appropriately valued, and it's kind of a not necessarily a super exciting asset as he once was this offseason.
The only other thing that you had that I had for a counterpoint for you is you talked about target share. Yeah. And while last year it was well above 30, we got a smaller sample size, obviously, because of the injury, right. And then we just didn't see him the rest of the fucking year. The year before, though, when he played, he was, 26% target share, and then 30% the year before that in his second year, and his rookie year was 25. So, Adam, can we just call it high 20s, which is very good. Very, very, very fucking good. Like, that is awesome. That's what you want to see. That's going to be top 10. That's going to be top 7 in league if you're at 28% of your target share. You brought up DJ Moore. Go check out DJ Moore's target shares, in his 3rd, 4th, 5th year in the league while you're still on the Panthers, because he's at 28% every fucking year.
Well, that's where I will say I'm talking raw number of targets, although I'm not trying to say DJ Moore didn't have good time. Mike, you're talking he is top 6 in every season he's been in targets, raw volume, right? You're talking his rookie season, he was number 6, 147. You're talking how many players basically are in the north of 140 walking. They show up. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care what's around me. What's kind of crazy, too, you talked about the 24 season. It was a little – was it down from the year prior just slightly for Garrett Wilson?
For 24, 26% target share, 2023, 30%.
Yeah, and what was – remember it was like, oh, man, Aaron Rodgers is about to feed the crap out of Garrett Wilson. Psych. Right. Let's get Alan Lazard in here. Let's get Devontae Adams in here. But, no, I mean, he's a And I don't mean to talk shit about DJ Moore. I once loved and still have plenty of DJ Moore shares, but you just don't see him built to get 150 plus every year, no matter what. You do. They're just more highly valued than G-Dub.
2021. DJ Moore, 162 targets.
So there you go. So he's gotten his career once the target share of Garrett Wilson, or target number of Garrett Wilson. I mean, what was DJ Moore's best finish, by the way? Wasn't it 6? Was it 6 with the Bears?
23. Yeah, when he went to the Bears with Justin Fields, he was wide receiver 9.
Which is 9. Okay.
136 targets.
Damn, it's crazy. Because that was a low passing offense, which is a kind of antithetical to the combo here. Let me ask you with the super chat on here. All right, just got in a league, and he's got Garrett Wilson, so we can keep it going. Got in a league with some shitheads. Good for you. Good for you. Now, just listen. This isn't Parks and Rec, okay? This is the real. This is the big boy shit. All right.
11th place.
I'm taking. Honestly, that's not bad though. You're supposed to pick a direction. That's a good one to pick. So about that, I traded a 27 second, 27 fourth, and Michael Wilson. Got Garrett Wilson. Oh my gosh, dude! Even in best ball, I'm well for this, buddy.
Yeah,
we've already talked quite a bit, Mike and I, at least this last calendar year, or 12 months from today, in length at times about seconds and the overvaluing there. I like the shot of force, especially in best ball. I'm not going to sit here. I didn't tell you I don't. You go back earlier in the episode, I talked about running backs and wanting to take those shots because of the upside. But, Mike, there's a point. It's a weird game in best ball, right? There's a weird dynamic where, early on when it was more of a dynasty best ball, when it was a more a newer game, there was a ability, I think, overarching to just, listen, if you tear down, by and large, the assets are going to be appropriate for you to just make the pivot to the more assets. And then it became where we kind of live in this world now where it's a lot more convoluted. And this type of a pivot, to me, now, you could end up winning on the other side, all right? But this is just not – this is way too risky, speaking of Garrett Wilson. How about a super chat here? Goodness. And if you think Cheese Dicks and I might be in, but this guy is out.
Yeah, okay. So, listen, let's start this with the Michael Wilson part, the other Wilson.
Boom. Give him his props.
You love what you saw from him at the end of the year last year. And
Absolutely.
Did he help you win leagues?
Absolutely. Jacoby Brissett and Michael Wilson. Everybody saw it,
Yeah, but also let's put some context on it before people get too over their skis. While I like him as a player, he's interesting, and I don't think his keep trade cut value necessarily rose too much because he's like wide receiver 35-ish.
I was going to say, it rose not to seismic levels, probably because of all the reasons in Dynasty.
That's what I mean. Yeah. From where he was off-season till now
he might have doubled. I mean, he was probably in the 60s or 70s legitimately, right?
Easily. But let's also think about why he was there, Adam. Because these last 4 meaningful games that he had is the only 4 meaningful games he's had in his 3-year career. Okay, so let's put the context around it. And while I'm down on Garrett Wilson, like I'm willing to pivot, you're telling me I have to add a 27-second, which Adam and I have done numerous episodes and talked about how
I'm going to be out of 27 seconds every. I'm not going to have a single one by the time we get to 27.
And a fourth, like this is the kind of Adam. What would this wide receiver have to be to like make you go, would I do this deal?
Do you know how many? You know how much more you could have gotten me to done like somewhere? Like I would do unspeakable things for these type of trades. Honestly, like this.
If I told you in a best ball league you had to add change Michael Wilson to T. Higgins, you doing this?
I think now that is the point now where it's like I don't know. I'm having a conversation of all right, this might not be worth it. Because I don't necessarily care that much about the second or the fourth, but it's like, am I going to get any better production than T? Maybe. Odds are probably not. Now am I better off to keep these assets and do something else with it? So I think there I would say probably I would stick with my T and picks. But the difference in T. Higgins and Michael Wilson, Mike, let's be honest. Let's have that discussion, okay? T. Higgins showed us in 4 games in his rookie season and more, right, that he can do this. So there's a big, massive difference here. I don't know how – I guess that's part of the problem for me. Michael Wilson, let's say you're a believer in this, right? Even the most Michael Wilson stands, you got to be feeling a little unsure right now. Like, can he keep this up? Is this – we a little too high here? Is this too much, right? He's in this no man's land, I call it, right? you get to this point, you got the supposed decrepit, Devontae Adams now. You got guys that really we're not sure what to do with, whether it's the rookies that are, we need to see landing spot and combine stuff, or guys that really are just journeymen or haven't done shit and haven't done it consistently, right? This is the no man's land. Or maybe you're crusty, you can find some value, Jacoby Myers, Courtland Sutton, etc. The point that I'm making, though, is like he's at the top of that tier. It's like there's almost nobody out here that's willing to put down money and bet, like, you know what? Listen, this stock is just small stuff. It's about to go through the roof. We're about to see.
Except for apparently this league.
Well, here's what I'm curious too. All right, I'm always so curious about the dynamics of a lot of this stuff, especially the ones that I don't get done because I don't know the backstory. I'm very curious with this trade, how it comes about, and how did you end up sending this out? Did this person send it to you? Was this counters back and forth? One of the interesting things I find about these type of trades, Mike, because this seems to be a little more out of left field. Like, this is probably not something I think most Dynasty gamers wouldn't think this makes sense value-wise, right? So the reason I say that is I find a lot of times when it's not passing the smell test, so to speak, like the person on the other end might have been willing to do it for less. Like, there's
probably.
And that's even more scary. But I'm just curious the dynamic at this point. Also,
holy shit. Okay, so lab time. I just looked up Michael Wilson trades just so we can see where we're at.
Oh, this is where screen share would. Well, go ahead. I'll listen.
I mean, we got one in a 12-team Superflex league just made a couple days ago. Michael Wilson for Theo Johnson in the 409.
There you go.
We got one for Jalen Waddle for Michael Wilson, the 208 and a third.
Wow.
You also have Garrett Wilson.
Welcome to no man's land. Here you go.
Garrett Wilson in the 102 for Michael Wilson, Parker Washington, and Javonte Williams.
All right. Delete. See, this is one of the issues with the lab. It's not actually the lab. It's called Sleeper. That league, that league needs deleted from the trade.
Right.
Like, that is insane.
Take that shit out.
Javonte Williams. Bro, imagine trading away the 102 right now. And the assets
crazy.
you get back at the moment don't have value, like skyrocketing upside, right? And the top one you get is like, asset 60, Javonte Williams.
You got Michael Wilson for 27 first. Like, his value is all over the map, and apparently this man right here.
You got your truthers, and you got your guys that are like, yeah, give me Theo in the fourth, and we can call it a day. Like, Theo in a fourth was the way we started that off, by the way, for those that forgot. Okay.
Speaking of the guy who almost made the thumbnail, you think there's a possibility with how crazy it's getting with Travis Hunter? Can you pivot your Michael Wilson into a Travis Hunter?
Absolutely, dude. Here, go while you're up on the lab, just for the sake of it, give us a little,
Little Travis Hunter? What's going on with him?
Do it. See, you may not, because we just transferred into a new year. We may not have any cross-linking should be the episode name, Let's cross-link these two.
Let's cross-link them. We getting Michael Wilson, Travis Hunter
What
trades.
up, homies? Metric Scout, what's popping? All right, what's up, fellas? Grayson does everything. Hey, I like this. Grayson does. I'm a developer. Love your content, and I'm launching a new Dynasty product. Would love to give you guys a free lifetime membership and get your thoughts. Well, Grayson, you do everything, and I would, I'd love to take a look at it and see what you're, developing. What you got? Show us. You show me, all right, and then I'll show you.
Nothing good from any 12-team leagues. We got some 10-team trades, so they're whatever.
All right, so we that's okay. I mean, they're worth a shot.
It's worth a shot.
Garrett Wilson is my new DJ Moore, who was my Lee Evans and my Wayne Corbett. I love that.
Let's go. Now we're dating ourselves for sure.
Wayne Corbett, if you know, you know. Wilson feels like Judy with Jameis here before. Damn. Dale.
Let's go.
God damn it, Dale. I told you. Don't interrupt the man while he's talking. He's telling a story.
Where? Here you go, Adam. Let's put your knowledge to the test. A little BDGE crossover for you.
Okay.
They love the trivia over there.
Locked in,
by the way, that one with Barry Sanders
dude,
was fucking
listen,
dope, by the way.
I've been. It was weird. I was so proud in that moment. I'm like, damn, how sweet would that have been to been there? But
yeah,
freaking awesome, man. But go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Wayne Corbett, where'd he go to college?
I will attest to I don't have that in my bag, buddy. I could throw out a random school and I just am shooting a shot in the dark.
Hofstra.
I love Hofstra.
There we go.
Let me ask you though. Hold on. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, Michael Wilson and Travis Hunter. So let's talk Travis Hunter real quick too. So when you say the crazy stuff, give me what that means to you. Let's talk a little more specifics to the things that we're hearing, the things of the narratives, whatever it is. Let's talk a little bit more of the specifics surrounding Travis Hunter and where you vastly differ from that groupthink.
Yeah, I'm still a big believer in it just from what I saw on the field. I know we're in off-season time and we have nothing to do but, listen to coach speak and conjecture and do all that shit. I think we're moving the needle far too much. It really hit me. I kind of saw it in the Discord. People were talking about it a little bit back and forth. I'm just watching from the shadows with my one eye.
That's one of my favorite things to do in the Discord.
With my one eye.
I wait until Xbox puts something in there and then I go.
There you go. But then I got a fucking trade offer just a day or two ago in like a competitive league that I went, what the fuck is this? Like,
so you didn't smash it, meaning it wasn't someone sending you Travie, huh?
I was about to smash my fucking phone, threw it across the room in anger, pissed off.
Like, is he angry or hype here? He's always animated, but yeah, go ahead.
Like, give me a 26th third for fucking Travis Hunter? What the fuck?
Sure.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, what else? I mean, it's good. It's not really a great place to start, but okay. What else you got?
How many other firsts? I think you forgot to add them on. But yeah. So I guess that, when you asked about kind of what we were talking about, maybe I'm so far out of fucking touch with what's going on. Like, we need to have a little discussion.
I was meaning to talk to you about that, but I'm just
what the fuck moved this needle so far down on Travis Hunter? Like, why? The last time we saw him on a football field, we got everything that we ever wanted. They talked about how much more they wanted to get involved in the offense.
It was a good game. It was a great game, honestly.
Fantastic game. Not a lot of people saw it because it's an NFL Europe game.
Let's not say it was everything we ever wanted from Travis Hunter. All right, I'll fight the narrative there. It was a great game, by the way. He had a great game. He had a really big catch though too that propelled it. Not that that's a bad thing, but go ahead.
Right. Yeah, he was getting the ball down the field. He was getting targeted a lot out of the slot. He was playing almost all the fucking snaps. And he was putting up fantasy points. Like I don't know what else people want out of a 1 game sample size. That's about as best as 1 game could have gone. Like we jerked off Mecca Buka for less on 3 targets.
But I mean, speaking of 1 game sample size, I mean, tell me who I can't give you a really good 1 game sample size on too, right? Just as devil's advocate. I'm not fighting per se that Travis Hunter is should be a depressed asset.
Well, you narrow it down to rookie year performances, because I can tell you Michael Wilson never had one in his rookie year that was anything close to that.
All right, let's go 1 game sample size. Michael Wilson or Travis Hunter? Which one are you taking?
Oh, Travis Hunter by a fucking country mile.
Michael Wilson had some insane games this last year, but all right, go ahead. I'm listening still.
He did. No, but it was 14 fucking targets, over 100 yards, right? Had a touchdown, insane fucking contested catch that he made. Gave you wide receiver 9 production, 24 fantasy points. Off of them talking about all week, we need to get him involved downfield. We need to get him the ball more. He got it. And then in practice, he gets a knee injury. We don't see him for the rest of the year. And here we are off of what? Like, I heard the murmur that they might have mentioned that they want to play him more at corner next year. This is fucking February, people. Like, it's February. Like, we're trusting coach speak already? Shit, I don't trust that shit when we're in August.
To be fair, if we look at last year, we're a long way from that 1 game of production. So I get it from that standpoint. No, I mean, I will say, let's see. So, well, did you have anything else other than the 1 game? Obviously, I think if you didn't pay attention to the specifics there, you might not even realize how great that game was. So I don't want to dismiss that. It's true. But
no,
let's talk about the rest of the situation too.
The only other counterpoint, or the only other points that I had with it too, was just the Jags offense as a whole. Because up to that point, I think just about everybody, you and I included, were like, dude, we might be fucking done with Trevor Lawrence. Like, this offense is, holy fuck, it's bad. And then, boom, Trevor Lawrence is a fucking league winner. The Jags offense takes off the rest of the year. We're spending time on Start Sit. We're spending time on Recap. We're spending time on AMA talking about the gloriousness of Parker fucking Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason Parker Washington is out there playing those snaps and getting those targets is because this guy that's on the screen right here is hurt and on IR and not out there. Where the last time when that Jags offense took off was because they used him in that Parker Washington role that you saw for the end of the season, and Trevor Lawrence force-fed that fucking guy the ball. So I guess for me, I'm like, I don't understand why we're at such a negative point where we're even throwing out like dog shit offers of thirds, and like the panic has even sniffed this. Dog shit offers are going to happen.
I was going to say, let's separate a little bit from the extremes here. Okay, the game was great. And that dog shit offer maybe just was a dog shit manager, or maybe it was a bad day for the kids. Like, a third is insane. Okay, if you think Travis Hunter is truly worth even a second or a third, like, just stop. It's not. It's La La Land. Let's move on.
Like, what are we doing here? Yeah,
a third. I mean, come on. Mike, but people are trading thirds for Caleb Johnson at this point. Come on, stop it.
Right. Like, I'm seeing, like I mentioned earlier, I'm seeing like people like hype up Jonathan Brooks, who, we have devastating knee injury after devastating knee injury and never seen anything on the field from him to the level of it. And we're 2 years removed from him being a rookie now. Travis Hunter is coming off of a rookie year. It's like the panic level, I get it. Maybe it's not to a third, but I'm seeing enough of it, and I don't understand where it's coming from. Like,
I think if you're at a third, you really are buying into the fact that he could end up being, and there's real momentum and motion to the fact that he could be going to a full-time corner role, which, frankly, even if you've heard that and it's a valid source, we're nowhere near knowing that's true, right?
But I can't even remember the panic on other wide receivers coming off the rookie year getting even close to like sniffing the murmurs and stuff that we're hearing around here. Like Treylon Burks was abysmal. Jalen Reagor was abysmal. N'Keal fucking Harry was abysmal.
But none of those, yeah. The reason though, that's why I think it makes the most sense if you were going to say something was logical tied to that, because if he goes to that, Mike, you're basically saying his career as an offensive fantasy asset is done, right? So like no one's ever been threatened for that except for someone that like isn't going to be able to play because of an injury or something. So it is pretty extreme, and I think that's the only way you think there's actually a real chance it either gets done or it's right to send that offer, right? Otherwise, we're just having a, like, what are we doing? You sending me, you can send me trades like this all day long. I'll just laugh and not care. But no, but go ahead. I'm still listening.
No, I'm just saying I don't understand where the what the fuck we're doing here, right?
Yeah, well, let's go ahead. I was going to say, to me, there's a few things that I think probably are all over the map that are all slightly tied into this. Not saying that is right and that it should be down this far as being depressed this far, but I think there's a fair amount of things that have it at this point. I'm not saying that it should be this part, but one thing is directly after that injury you talked about with Travis Hunter, they did trade for Jacoby Myers, right? And so that happened. You have obviously Parker Washington, to your point, and I think the big thing that's really weird, I don't think this should be looked at one for one, but remember all offseason it was like, okay, can Travis Hunter actually, there was a lot of talk about, can Travis Hunter actually become the alpha in the offense ahead of BTJ, right? Some people kind of eye rolled at you, whatever. But BTJ, we found out with Trevor Lawrence across his unbelievable rookie season was actually pretty mid and not good. And we found out this year, it was like, whoa, what the fuck was that about, right? And to think about the fact that Trevor Lawrence actually started to play a lot better in the second half of the year, while Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers were the guys that are benefiting, I think that all of those things can start to weigh into what do you want to say, the reach thinking of, okay, right, like this guy's the number 2 overall pick and he has shown some upside and he has tons of it still. We haven't even got to see him really playing a lot of snaps outside of, a handful of games. So I think that all plays into why his price is so extremely down. And I think if it wasn't for the defensive talk, there's no way you could tell me that he's actually outside the top 24 at this point. But basically, if you're telling me there's no chance he's not going to play as the primary offensive weapon at receiver, we're no matter how bad it's been, we really don't see those guys get out of the top 30 with this type of draft capital and pedigree.
It just feels like people are getting trapped off of like one reporter's fucking tweet in February, right?
Well, I mean, to be fair, this time of year, people are looking for any and every piece of information to move it on.
Yeah, I don't want to besmirch the fucking guy who put it out. He's got a fucking job to do too, but it's not like he's the team beat reporter. It's not like he's following the organization. He's a national NFL reporter who put out that Travis Hunter is trending towards playing full-time cornerback in 2026 and part-time wide receiver. And that's it. That's enough in today's dynasty market to go like, this dude was the 102 in rookie drafts last year. Fuck it.
But I will say that's why I talked about all those other things, because I do think some of those wouldn't take it. All of those narratives probably are slightly around, right? They don't get it to this degree though, because if you're telling me you're a little worried already, and then you're saying, well, there's a chance he doesn't play offense at all, that I think is how you see a nosedive. Mike, you can't. This is the first time we've ever seen anything like this. We can't even assess it. That's the other thing. People are always afraid of what they don't understand, right?
I'm just going to throw this out there because I saw John McGlynn just a week ago trade a 306. Yeah,
I thought you said
Travis Hunter.
The way you said it, I was like, you saw Johnny again. Okay.
No, I saw John McGlynn trade a fucking third and get Travis Hunter. Like, he put it on his timeline.
Wait a minute.
Like, what the fuck?
So you saw a trade. See, this whole time, I'm on your side, and then it's like, wait a minute. You saw someone actually take this deal. What the hell's going on?
Somebody actually fucking took it. So, listen, Adam, I'm convinced we're at the level of ludicrous just because it's, like you said, it's probably a situation nobody really knows how to
Jason.
handle.
I would agree. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Thank you. We're at a situation where nobody knows how to handle it. But I could tell you, like, take Matthew Golden, horrible rookie season.
Yeah.
This didn't happen, by the way. We're living in a hypothetical world. But a tweet could come out that Matthew Golden is wanted on murder charges, right? It could be like it's trending towards Green Bay police charging Matthew Golden with murder charges. And I think you could trade your Matthew Golden for the 306, right? Like, there'll be people out there that'll be like, you know what? I'm going to take a shot on Matthew Golden. This is bullshit, right? The tweet didn't say anything about Travis Hunter not playing in 2026. It said trending towards playing full-time cornerback and part-time wide receiver. And it's like, man, we're in third-round territory now. Like, one of these rookie wide receivers could potentially kill somebody. Like, do you remember the Henry Ruggs shit, right? That was bad, a horrible situation. Sure. Immediately after that, and the following season, you were seeing Henry Ruggs on people's rosters getting traded for fucking third-round picks. That's the level of ludicrous that we've reached with a kid that had a phenomenal last game on the field. His wide receiver snaps went up. And because one national NFL reporter puts out that tweet, all of a sudden we've gone from 102 last year to a third-round pick. Let me get out before bad shit happens.
Let's try to get a little narrowed in on actionable. And so, like, what I mean by that is, right, let's talk about range of outcomes, and let's talk about where you're at. So what would you be buying Travis Hunter for at the moment, let's say?
Well, we just talked about the Rashee Rice thing. I'll make that pivot. Okay. That might be too rich for some people, though.
I mean, I will tell you, Mike, you know what? We should, matter of fact, I'll lab while you talk here. We can do we could definitely do a live one of that for sure.
So I'll put this shit at 106 of this class or later. Easy. No question.
106. Okay. Wow. You're trading 106 for him? Yeah. I mean, now granted, you're saying you would be willing to. I don't think you necessarily have to for the most part. But
no.
So all seconds, full go, no questions about it, right?
How about everyone's fucking darling? I'd rather have Travis Hunter than Luther Burden.
I don't think that's crazy, actually, but I will say at the moment it sounds insane for people that really love the kid. So let's talk range of outcomes here, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think percentage-wise? Do you think there's a real chance, and what would you give it, let's say, for him to actually, move to a full-time positional player? Either way, let's start with that for a second.
Either way,
yeah.
Are we talking just this upcoming year? Or are we talking in the future?
I'm talking like we're getting to be some point, let's say either this year or next year, sometime in the next, reasonable amount of time that we can say, okay, all right, this hybrid, both sides of the ball, not that he's not talented, maybe couldn't do it, it's just not working out, and we want to see him thrive at one place or the other.
Probably 65%.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would say probably to me,
more likely.
I think it's probably 75% chance that he's going to end up going one way or the other, right? So that's now, and I think in general, right?
Not saying he can't, and he's not or he's not a unicorn or anything like that. And be the first ever to do it, but I think at some point within the next couple of years, you're going to get a clarification that, all right, you're either a wide receiver or a cornerback. We're done trying to do both.
Correct.
But like I said, I'm at 65%. So, I mean, there's still a good chance that he can be that unicorn. He can do both.
Sure. I would say it's probably, like, to me, we're not super far off, but I'm like 75-25. And I think if you just think about that, what would you say, or do you have a lean one way or the other? Do you think he's a
wide receiver,
more likely to be a receiver or a corner? Okay.
Yep.
What would you say the lean is for you that it'll be a receiver versus a corner?
No, I steal your numbers, 75%.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's going to be what's interesting is obviously if there's a high chance that he goes one way or the other, that probably in general I think is when you talk range of outcomes, the uncertainty of an asset being even at wide receiver 30, that we don't even know what side of the ball he's going to play on, probably scares the piss out of people. Like basically you look at Rashee Rice, any type of negative downside, we already in Dynasty typically the average person wants to steer away from. So I think when you think about it from that lens, the panic is just innate in assets if there's big risk. And I think someone put it in the chat actually here, right? Hunter was obviously high risk, high reward. And I think sometimes when you see a high risk, high reward guy that's had a lot of the lack of reward this year, you get more panic and quicker. And that was one thing I was dead wrong on. Like I thought his value installation was going to be super high because of the fact that he was playing both sides of the ball, and basically his numbers were going to be kind of protected. But that's way wrong.
That's the kind of thing that, listen, that's probably the biggest part that I dispute. Okay, that I'll dispute. And while your fantasy numbers don't look great, minus that last game, everything that you wanted as far as progression for a rookie wide receiver was fucking happening for him. If you just viewed him as a wide receiver, take all the cornerback shit out of the equation. His slot snaps were amazing, and his offensive snaps kept going up every single week for 5 straight fucking weeks. To the point, those last 2 games that you saw, one, 24 points, the other one, 5.5, but you're talking 42 routes and 48 routes. Out on the field playing wide receiver more and more and more as the season went on. And that's what you saw on the field, what was actually happening. Same coaching staff was using him more and more on offense than they were on defense. And then we just bypass all that shit for one tweet in February. That's the ludicrous thing for me. And that's the thing that I'm like, we actually saw it on the fucking field. We saw the coaches make this conscious decision in there. Why does this change it all of a sudden?
Yeah, and I think also, I guess, I hear you. But I will say, like I was saying before, I do think there's some things someone put in here. I do like it. And you're not wrong, by the way, Jason, frankly. I'll admit it. I'll speak for me anyway. I'm a fucking idiot, and I'm okay with it. And you can, listen, I got terrible player takes. I've got bad process. I got it all. Okay, so you're right to say this, but Mike, one thing that makes us different, well, if you want to use that to be nice, is not just fucking idiots, but that's one thing I think we have some certain traits about us, the way we play Dynasty and think about it, that are very polarizing or different than the average person plays. And I think sometimes we're a lot more willing to go to what feels like incredible risk for other people. So I'm not surprised at that point when I think about it. Rashee for Hunter. Unfortunately, I only have 2 Travis Hunters, which is the worst part of this. Because I'm thinking about, okay, I'm only in 2 leagues hopefully Mike's in both. Yeah, okay, he is. I almost guarantee he ain't gonna have no fucking Rashee Rice in there. So maybe we'll dabble in
because
some
I only
other.
have one.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to dabble in some some other player names. But Hunter was sorry, what was the other one here? Oh, are you guys in or out? And at what cost?
Brazel.
What do you think on Brazel, buddy?
Don't know.
I was gonna say,
lot.
dude, I'm gonna be honest. I got no problem admitting, and I'm not gonna cap here. I don't
know, but he is starred. He is highlighted. He's one of the prospects that when we get to him, I'm most excited to watch and then get a determination and a feel for. Because while the production numbers, the size, the speed, the deep down the field stuff is awesome, Tennessee wide receivers and helmet scouting is a dirty fucking thing sometimes, but it's also what you go off.
Dirty is because it's done so often.
You get burned time and time again by the same fucking school producing wide receivers, and all of a sudden you go, is this shit just gimmicky? So actually want to watch and see, and is he a product of the offense? Is he getting schemed open, and that's why he's open deep down the field, catching wide open touchdowns with nobody else around him? Or did that guy actually just run a hell of a fucking route? Did he beat that, that press man corner? Did he find the soft spot in the fucking zone? Did he do the things that you want to see out of what? Can he be a legitimate real wide receiver? And listen, I hope that when we put on the tape, it's like, yep, he is. He's legitimate, because we can add more depth to this class. That could be an exciting rookie pick. My fear is you're going to get on there and I'm going to see a lot of the same shit that I've seen out of every other Tennessee wide receiver under Heupel and go, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'll let somebody else fuck around and find out on Brazel.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I saw him play, but I saw moments of games, right? I don't really have a...
He's got a hell of a highlight reel.
That's what I mean. I've seen the big plays, right? I'd be dishonest if I told you I knew like the ins and outs of his games at this point. So I do need to do more digging on him. And I will say what's interesting, Mike, though, is just to me with him, what I do know of and what stands out to me is that this guy he's got the size, right? And he has... I don't know if I want to say he's for sure got the speed, but he has moments of showing the speed. So, Mike, one thing I think the Dynasty Gamer will never be truly out on is tall freaks that potentially are going to have, game-changing upside in fantasy. That's a hunch I have. So he has, I think, he has the tantalizing upside as far as possibly the traits. Like I said, I haven't seen how he runs routes, and I haven't seen if he's actually if his long speed actually matches sometimes what I've seen at points. So
we had a few of those in last year's class, right?
Well, we had what's his name?
And how'd they work out?
My guy we talked about him a lot in this time of year, in the offseason, DeAndre Thornton.
Almost none of Deontay Thornton.
I guess about him a lot in the offseason, right?
The only real success one out of it, because I remember when we did a post combine and we were doing we were talking about the rookie draft guide at the time, and there was some lower ranked wide receivers, but you and I had the conversation about some guys after the combine. I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. And then you went and looked at production profiles on some of these guys. I remember bringing up one at the time, and I was like, listen, you look early on in his career, he had some pretty decent production, like he wasn't just a nobody until his last year of college, and then went out and, put up 600, 700 yards and then had an amazing combine, size, speed combination. And it was probably the most effective one, right? But not always because of being a wide receiver. Shamir DK and his kick return and return ability, and then what he did on offense, that was probably the most successful one. But everyone's fucking golden boy, Tesla, that didn't work out. Deontay Thornton was the Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson are the only guys this size to ever go out and do it. That didn't work out for a lot of people. A lot of these guys just end up being nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just what it is.
Jay, I will say, I mean, I'm not saying there's not other names, but the Jalen Hyatt name just always will stick out to me for forever. As like
Blitnikoff winner, man.
I mean, he had me fooled, buddy. He got me. Good on you. I am an idiot. So yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, as often as early as recently, Mike, as last year in the offseason. Like, yeah, for cheap, yeah, give him take a shot on some Jalen Hyatt. Yeah, whoops.
Dale throws out Juwan Jennings, and I remember somebody bringing that up in the Discord. Juwan Jennings was before Josh Heupel got to Tennessee, right? Much different offense at the time. So
sure,
Heupel offense, little concerning, just because everything we've seen for a wide receiver position come out of there has been gimmicky and not translated to the NFL.
Yeah, Red, you're not wrong necessarily. I think I agree at the moment, and I wasn't trying to say that he's destined for that. I'm just saying I've seen guys like Thornton, who I would agree is not as talented of a prospect, but has that tantalizing size, speed, freak of nature that just goes out. And I mean, the offseason hype was so real on Thornton. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, we're talking legitimately. They were, now granted, as you saw, there's a lot of delusion and age in the Raiders, front office and locker room. So they talked about using him all the time, right?
At this time, a few years back, you couldn't have told me that Jalen Hyatt wasn't going to be productive in the NFL, right? I was like, the guy just won the fucking Blitnikoff. Look at his highlight reel. Like, this guy he hits everything you want analytically from a wide receiver. Burner. Does it all. And then nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Mike, let me ask you then. I got a couple questions here while we're asking questions in the chat. So keep them coming here. I got a couple things to get with Mike, and we're gonna get up out of here because we have well, I don't want to speak for him, but I think his eyes need a little time away. I know I'm out of Red Bull, so we're teetering.
Running out of gas, bud.
Yeah, we're on fumes though. We're used to running on fumes. Let me ask you right now. Players in your in the range that you would be considering moving Hunter for, because I know you talked Rashee Rice. So let's, for my sake, for the audience sake, but my sake, I will admit I'm being selfish here. But what other players around Travis Hunter? I only have 2 shares, so it's not like we're destined to make a trade anyway.
Like if I was going to pivot off my Travis Hunter,
no, you're going to go move for Travis Hunter. Like where are we talking? What other names? You said Rashee.
It kind of just depends on how people value. Like we brought up the Michael Wilson thing. That one's pretty easy for me. Jordan Addison, yes, I would move him. Jalen Waddle, Smitty, AJ Brown, JMO, Luther Burden. Do all those, no question.
What about a Zay?
That's tougher. I think that's more like a portfolio question. How much Zay do I have? How much Travis Hunter do I have? Because Zay
what about
quietly,
team building? Would you move? Let's say you're not quite on the. Let's say you're more towards the rebuild than the contender. Is that a flip
Travis
that
Hunter?
Sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter. I'm aiming for more of that upside play than Zay, because the thing I was going to bring up about Zay, quietly had a very good productive season this past year.
He's honestly turned out multiple. He's become, in my opinion, extremely productive. Extremely consistent, but not really. His name is in moments, right? If he has 2 big weeks in a row, it gets a little more buzz. But his name typically stays a little, under. I think he's a little. He's a little underappreciated, I guess, in Dynasty.
For running backs that I really care about, one for one, like you said, team building kind of comes. What am I trying to do with this team? And if I'm purchasing running backs, it's usually on the contending side. So. I'm more focused on production then. So I will throw in like Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall.
Those make sense, especially for the same build. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm more on the competitive side, I'd rather hold on to, my Breece Hall, my Christian McCaffrey than I would. But if it's reversed, if I'm looking for that upside, or I'm leaning more on the rebuild or, future years out, you take the running backs, those more risky assets. I think the only thing it doesn't really apply to is like Trev. Obviously Amari and Hampton.
Well, right. The
dynasty value.
We as we talked about earlier in the show, the young. I'm not saying I'm opposed to a young running back, but typically the reasons I'm opposed to a young running back, Mike, are because of. That's why his value is so high. He's a young running back. Like when that inflates the value too much, I'm just out on that in general. Wow. I sent you an offer, by the way. I think we might be able to do. It's up to you, obviously, and best balls. I've been I've been pretty sure rebuilding in that since when did we start this league? 2020. Since COVID. I've been rebuilding this league. Finally looking to pivot the other way, and I think you're rebuilding. But I send it over to you.
Tight end pivots. Anybody that's not named Brock Bowers or Trey McBride.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. You'll send those guys away for Travis Hunter straight up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think for the position, but I will say that's got to get some people. Some people, your Harold Fannin, Tyler Warren, Colson Loveland type.
Yep.
Hell, even your Sadiq, right? I mean, you got to get those people fired up, man.
You need Sadiq.
Mike, Matt Denton has a question for you, for us.
Oh,
108.
We got a deal done, bud.
Boom. I had a feeling that we could find something. I was nervous at first, and I'm like, shit, I only have 2 Travis Hunter. I knew you didn't have a lot of Rashi. By the way, we did that in a best ball league, straight up Zay for Travi.
Yeah, I know people are like, you guys are fucking idiots. Right? But,
well, in this case, one of us will probably end up being. That's how our trades normally are.
Well, I'm a fucking idiot who follows through on what I say, though, at least. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
That's one big idiot, man. He does exactly what he says he was going to do.
108 here, Matt Denton.
Yeah, I was Mike, I'm curious here. Let's talk Parker Washington out of the picks for a second, right? To kind of frame what the picks are worth. So where would you value Parker Washington at the moment? So we were talking about, this dead range where Parker Washington's actually no man's land. I guess I called it more so, where he's like, I don't know, a few spots behind Travis. Where would you actually put him in Dynasty, like at the receiver position? Is he like outside of the top 40, 50 for you?
He's going to be outside the top 40, but 50 might be attainable.
Well, I mean, because, so at the moment right now, right? So let me start at 40, which is Omar Cooper. But then there's Wandale, Devontae Adams, Matthew Golden, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman. Then there's Parker Washington right there at 46. Quentin Johnson, Malachi Fields, and we got Jacoby Myers, Cortland Sutton to round out 50. So, I mean, so at the moment he was a little lower than I thought he was there, but you think he's kind of appropriately valued.
Well, I'm taking the rookies out of it because a lot of these rookies they got down in the range.
That's fair.
No fucking chance. But he I don't know. I think he might be a little bit overvalued, Adam, because you go to page 2 and you start looking at some.
I was just gonna say, I was like DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin second pagers on the receivers. Oh,
even besmirching like some guys that you and I over the last couple of years, like the Jaden Reed thing got crazy. I'd rather have Jaden Reed, Josh Downs. I'm not a big Josh Downs fan. Shakir, I would rather have.
Wide receiver 60. I will say, man, that's crazy. Sometimes I do a little too much KTC because I'm like, how are all these guys, 15, 20 spots behind some of those players? That's wild. Mike Evans is wide receiver 67.
Yeah, Romeo Dobbs. Yeah, so I guess to your point, Parker Washington probably outside the top 50.
Like, how about Chris Godwin at an all-time low of wide receiver 76, outside the top 75? Obviously, these are obviously those are all probably not real value because it's KTC.
I would think he'd be more in line if we were talking about like Jalen McMillan or Parker Washington.
There you go. Where is McMillan actually?
69. Nice.
Very, very nice. So it's interesting because McMillan was starting to show pretty nicely towards the finish of the year, which probably convolutes the entire thing. I think I'd probably put him more at like 55, 60 probably. I will say too, and the reason I wanted to make that point, the distinguishing point, right? If you tell me in best ball, Mike, you wanted to take that offer, I don't necessarily love it, but I don't hate it. What I will say, though, is in lineup, it's probably not close for me. And this is a process thing in lineup, let's say. Because unless we're talking probably 11 at minimum, probably more like 12 starters, like I'm not – the Parker Washington type isn't really the asset that I'm kind of going to be moving tiers like this for. Now, I don't necessarily have the 108 and 201 as a tier break right now because of player dives, but I just know how that pocket of pick is going to be valued. And Parker Washington isn't the piece that's going to move the needle for me here. I would happily be more I would be much happier missing out on Parker Washington and being wrong on him than I would missing out on whatever I could get at the 108 or the value I could have traded it for.
It's just one of those wide receivers where it was like almost to the point of Michael Wilson, where it's like you hadn't done anything up until this point, and then you gave us a nice handful of games that helped us win down the stretch. And I think we value, or we're a little too fond of that.
Yeah, I think. Listen, for me anyway, it doesn't seem like anywhere near enough, but you never know, and it's probably if you can get it done, absolutely. To that point, terrible idea for Love at 101 if rebuilding ? So Dale has a question here. Is it a trophy fish? What's a trophy fish? No. If you're rebuilding, Mike, is it a bad idea to take Love at the 101?
No. It's similar conversation we had about Ashton Genty, and especially after we got the hit rate data on it, and it's like we're so early in this offseason that go ahead, take him. You got months. You got months to capitalize and move on hype, whatever. Like his value isn't going down after he gets drafted, so he's going to stay there, and he might even climb in overall ranks. I don't think he's going to climb in running back ranks, right? Like you're not jumping Gibbs and Bijan for sure. But people are going to think a lot more fondly of him. And you remember how Genty in the redraft, once we got to redraft season right before, was going in the first round of redraft leagues across the board. So
Mike's good at Mike's really good at that. It's his nice way of saying what Jason did. Of course, I remember I took him in the first round. Thanks a lot.
Oh, my bad.
I'm just kidding. No. I mean, here's what I will say to this. Right. I think the process that we've talked about is you don't want to have a bunch of young running backs and in particular build around that position in a rebuild. I think that process still is correct. However, what I will say is outside of you need to know your league is most important. So if you know in your league that you can kind of go back and think about the top 5 running backs and roughly what those have gone for during the season, right? So if you're in a league and you can say by and large generically that type of return isn't a big net. Okay. This is probably a league where I'm probably a lot more actively in this type of a draft being like, dude, I need to let me just get the assets, right? Let me just move off, and because if he does smash, if he does play well, the return just hasn't historically come my way. However, I think that's more often than not an exception to the reality of most of our leagues, where there's 2 aspects of this. I actually was thinking about this like a week or 2 ago, Mike. So one of the things when you make a trade, even people that are wanting to rebuild, it's natural to want to get players over picks a lot of times for people, and it's in particular also to get picks that are going to be cashing out earlier. So one of the things that you're a lot more likely to do is trade back, right? So now what's funny about that is when you trade back, Mike, you're actually just getting players again, right? So when you make the 101 and the draft's over and you go into the season, you're a lot more likely to take on the assets of people's future picks, which actually they're going to value less in the season, and you're going to get a lot more back for your return and probably stay a little more liquid, which I think is the whole idea and what's more desirable anyway. So I think the value from Love to the rest of the class at the moment where we're at today is not worth passing that up on. So basically, if I don't get the offer for Love that I feel I should at this hypothetical 101, and I'm not going to get that, I'm just making the pick.
I'm with you. I'll go ahead and make the fucking pick. Just going to make the pick. Ideally, if I'm rebuilding, I'm exploring how to, get multiple assets, right?
For sure.
I don't really want to have a running back on a rebuilder long term. Listen, I do have time to move it, but what if I get stuck with it, right?
Sure.
Like what if I'm, and I think the beauty of Love being like this locked in 101, I think it'll become more clear, especially once we get to the combine, and then once we get to the NFL draft for sure. If there is this big gap between Love being taken in the first round and then RB2 off the board being, Emmett Johnson or something in the third round.
If we go a full round and a half, right? It's
fuck. You know what I mean? Like that's not exciting. That's not super exciting. If you get to that point, it'll be such a locked in 101 that being able to trade that for the 103 and the 105 and a second and 27, it'd be like, oh wow. Now I get to capitalize on the value. I don't have to take the running back. I get 2 wide receivers or a wide receiver and a quarterback, and I get a future pick. Like the tear down offer becomes so appealing and so much easier to get. So if you got to stick and pick it, like, and you can't get the deal like Adam said, then yeah, fuck, I got no problem doing it because I'm going to draft this in May, and then I got June, July, August, and maybe the first couple of weeks of the season. Like, hey, did you see Jeremiah Love, his rookie debut? Man, went out and had 100 yards or whatever. You know, he was RB 11 on the week. Like, okay, fuck yeah. Now people are in a contender mode. I see him do it on the field. All right, now his value is actually can be realized, and you can still move off it without fucking your long-term plans for rebuilding.
It's funny actually, Mike, because as you were talking about that, I think it's actually a really good tie-in kind of segue out. Is Mike, I was talking about how these running back names that are, you know, littered across KTC, especially right now before the class really gets you know, the legs that it will after next week with the combine, and then the mocks that start becoming what we feel more closer to what reality is going to be, and then we get obviously landing spot in real draft capital. They'll keep going off the board, but it's littered right now, Mike. I mean, again, I'm talking right now, the top 50 running backs on KTC. All right, just think about these names for a second here. So we got Genty at 4, Hampton at 5. We've got Travion at 9. We've got Quinshawn at 10. Scatabo, Mike, right? Draft capital, all the concerns with Tyrone Tracy, all that, and a crazy injury, 16. We've got Harvey at 19. We've got Manangai at 25. We've got, let's see, Tootin now at 31. Woody Marks 32. The list keeps going on, but JCM, right? We've got Dylan Sampson and Caleb Johnson. Okay, by the way, this is where the names start to make, like, nothing happened. Like, we're at the point now where they did absolutely fuck all, right? Dylan Sampson had a game of literally no production. It was just catches that gave him 1 week of anything. Caleb Johnson didn't play. Like, these guys had zeros for seasons, okay? They're still in the top 50, right? They're still ahead of Tony Pollard. And the reason that's so interesting, I think, Mike, with the way, you know, when we were playing, let's say 2020, 2021 especially, those years, the running back had this crazy relative dynasty inflation compared to where we're at now. So the idea of, okay, if I have, like back then, let's say, if I had this Love asset and he gets hurt, I'm going to probably end up losing a shit ton of value. The reality, the way we're treating the running back position at the moment, like, think about that, what I just mentioned. Like, there's not a losing scenario. There's not a losing scenario for a single rookie running back. No. Caleb Johnson literally is a spitting image of probably what the worst case scenario for a rookie running back is, right? Fringy draft capital, but just in the range. Literally doesn't see the field. Still top 50. So, like, I'm not saying I wouldn't want to get off of the asset of Love in a rebuild, but I'm basically trying to explain that the proof's in the pudding. If I have to hold him for a year, especially a guy that's going to get first-round draft capital, probably top 15 type draft capital with that type of pedigree, look at Genty. One of the worst situation, and he's arguably just as valuable. So I think the reason I say that is there's probably a scenario where, let's say he doesn't play as bad as Genty. If he plays well, you have an asset that actually can be on the rise, and basically value insulation's pretty locked and loaded for a guy like that.
Yeah, and I think it's the last 2 years you've seen this running back resurgence. The last 2 years have been fantasy dynasty championships have been won on the backs of running backs. This past year more than, you know,
this past
the year
was
before,
nice to see, wasn't it too?
Well, which is fucking crazy because the year before you had Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley go off. You know what I mean? Like, we were approaching record territory, and then this past year it was volume by Christian McCaffrey, but you see this massive gap between the top 6 running backs, and then everybody else really flattens out. But what made that so much better for fantasy gamers was the fact that while in 2024 it wasn't a great quarterback year, this past year was fucking abysmal. Abysmal. So if the quarterback suffered at all, most of the wide receivers ended up suffering, except for like super elite ones. The quarterbacks are down across the board. The wide receivers are down as a whole. Tight end is whatever. Who gives a fuck? So it looks like, man, if you had Bijan, if you had Gibbs, if you had Christian McCaffrey, you had Achane, you were like, I'm fucking my way all the way to a championship. I'm winning this thing. This is what we're coming off of. We're heading into the third year potentially. So you're seeing these running back values being inflated. quite a bit, which I agree at the top, which Jeremiah Love is going to end up in that dynasty value pocket where it's like these top 5, these top 6, these are safe as fuck. Okay, these are what everyone's going to want and chase the whole offseason and probably at the beginning of the season until we actually get play on the field that says otherwise. So it also makes it very interesting too when you talk about some of those younger guys. Adam, I think some of the ones that you mentioned, like the Dylan Sampsons, the Woody Marks, the Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritts, the Blake Corums of the world, the Trey Benson still being up where they are, those guys are overinflated on doing almost fucking nothing, which I think kind of sets up the NFL this offseason with this fucking free agent class and how bad right now this NFL draft class looked for running back talent. Maybe some of these older guys that are gross and crusty way down the list, the Alvin Kamaras, the Aaron Jones, the Tony Pollards, the James Connors of the world, maybe that's the thing that you should be buying into for these fucking random thirds instead of trying to send your thirds out to get Travis Hunter boys.
Well,
I would just think something a little more practical.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting, and you brought me to the same point you're making, but kind of back to what I was saying too. Mike, think about even names that got day 3 got capital and didn't see the field. Mike, DJ Giddens is basically the same value as he was when you drafted him.
Right. He hasn't moved at all. Yep.
What?
Great.
Like, yeah. So anyway, I do think taking those shots, there's a lot of volatility to go up for those type of running backs with whatever they get. But I'm with you. When they get to a certain point, it's time to hit the exit button. Speaking of the exit button, much as I would love to stay, I do mean that. Mike's having a hard time seeing. I'm having a hard time talking, thinking. I mean, let's just go ahead and call it what it is. Couple of idiots doing the best we can. We love you. We'll see you back here same time, same place. The same idiot way. We're out of this thing. Peace.
Peace.